Hey, hey, hey. We are live again with another chit chat show. Monday, and let's say a few shout outs to some people. Oh, hang on 1 second. We do actually have a super sticker from Darwin for $5. So thank you very much, Darwin, always supporting the show. Thanks very much. Right, okay, so we've got Clarion, Ian Adams, and Shills. What PS occurring? Ranty, play my Jose's trans investigation live, please. I tell you what, I will do that, just for shits and giggles. I tell you what, I will do that. How's that? I've not seen it myself, and I don't know if it's you've just done it, but I think, why not? The Plain Truth says, hurry up, come on, if you want to join, mate, let me know. Oh, hello. A surprise guest. Glenn, how's it going?
I'm up early.
A surprise guest, how's it going? We are live right now.
Hello.
Hello,
everyone.
What can I do for you, Glenn?
I don't know, did you read my stuff about the Taranaki observation last night?
Let's have a look, let's have a look what you've put.
All right.
Because I did ask you.
I did spam you pretty hard.
Right, okay, because I had quite a lot of things. Let's see. There's no compression.
There's no compression.
Have you got any of this information? Have you got any images that you could present, perhaps?
Oh, I did it all on my laptop upstairs, so I could, give me a sec.
Okay.
Give me a minute.
No worries.
What have I got? Yes, I'm on my machine downstairs now.
Just ring us back when you're done.
Oh, no, I'll get it up now, it's alright. I'll share screen in a sec.
Okay.
Oops.
Let's... Okay, let's see who's in. So we got let's see. Oh, Plain Truth, 20 subs. Yeah, baby. Congratulations, mate. Nicely done. The Mies Kang, nice to see you in, mate. Amanda Young, nice to see you in. SE, show the Australian eagle in the background for some. Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can get the Australian eagle. Open with photos. Here we go. How's that? How is that?
Here we go. Alright, I'm sharing screen.
Okay, right, hang on then. Let's get you up. Let's get you pushed over. So we're also joined by Rude Earther and the Mind of God. How you guys doing this evening?
Howdy, y'allers, me on ballers.
Not bad.
Just not bad.
I like Ranty, you're killing the memes today, buddy.
Oh.
I love it. Killing it.
I've got a slideshow actually. I might play a video of my slideshow. That would be pretty cool.
Hey man, can I ask you a question? How do you put those memes in the feed? Because I only see them on my phone. How do you do that?
I've no idea. I just put them as a community post, and I think YouTube does the rest.
Oh, okay, it's a community post. Got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so in case we're what we've got on screen right now is we've got Mount Taranaki from Baxter's Knob. Okay, so
Baxter's Knob
from
elevated position.
From Baxter's Knob, we can see Mount Taranaki now. That's kind of a problem for the globe.
Is it?
Who climbed Baxter's Knob? Was it you, Ruhif?
No, some dude in.
Did you mount Baxter's
very good.
Knob?
Very good. We have a place here called Bald Knob, by the way.
Bald Knob.
We need Pete here on here to explain this stuff.
Yeah, if Pete comes on, I'm leaving. Why is this a problem for the globe, Ranty?
Well,
sorry, Ranty. Why is this a problem for the globe?
Well, if we just take the geometric size of the Earth in your model, and we apply it to this observation, we shouldn't see any of that mountain.
So your error is in the first couple of words there. If we take the geometric size of the Earth.
So that's an error. But now you're going to talk about some kind of refraction nonsense, yeah, and tell us how this isn't. This is not really there. This is a mirage.
This is looming. Yes.
Well, this isn't there, but it is there.
Well, depends where you want to classify it as. We can see it.
Things have been bent round corners.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not line of sight, according to you.
Due to the standard density gradient in the atmosphere, it bends light and makes things appear higher than they actually are.
Okay, so go ahead, Ruhif. Explain to us why we see what we see.
Refraction-wise, or the actual data of the observation?
The data of the observation.
The data. Okay. All right. So this is a screenshot from about 6 seconds in, and you can get a few bits of information from this. So I've identified 2 buildings. So the one on the right over here is the building left over from the radio mast that was there a few years ago. So it's out on its own. It's pretty easily identifiable. That's it over there. This other building is some clubhouse or something, and it's pretty easily identifiable as well. So I picked 2 little points, the peak of this building and the building over here, and you can do some analysis on that on Google Earth, which we'll do now. So Google Earth. All right, so he's not actually on the road here. Delete that one, delete that one. All right, so he's at the lookout here. So what we're going to do is draw a line from the lookout over to that building. Where is it? That one. So remember I picked out the peak of the building there, and let's write that down. So the heading, we're trying to get the heading here. So 338.92. Oops, pen's not working. 338.92 degrees. And the heading to the building left over from the radio mast, I did that in about the center. So that's 345.82. Can you guys still see this on the screen?
Yes, yeah, we see it.
Wait,
Cool.
Ruhif, can you clarify for us? What are you doing? What's the setup here?
All right, so we're trying to work out a scale for the image that I took, like an angular size scale.
Okay.
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 Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So we're taking headings to identifiable landmarks in the image, and that'll give us an angle between the two. So the 2 headings that I got for those 2 buildings were 338.92 and 345.82. So that's 6.9 degrees between the 2. So let's go back to the image. Taranaki. All right, so there's 6.9 degrees angular separation between this and this. So now to get the scale, let me grab another bit of paper. Hold on. All right, so 6.90 degrees between those 2, and now we've got to work out how many pixels there are between the 2. So let's zoom in that one. And if you look in the, well, you probably can't see it, but when I click the peak of that building, on the top left, you'll see the XY coordinates, and the X coordinate is 311, or 312 even. So that's pixel 312. And we go over and check the other one. And we'll go to the middle of the building, which is about there. And the X coordinate is 1660. All right, so the difference between those, 1660 minus 312, 1348 pixels between the 2. So we have a scale. This is the scale for this picture. That's 1348 pixels. Equals 6.9 degrees. So we can measure the angular size of anything. Let's go and measure the angular size of Mount Taranaki. I reckon the top of it is about there. And if I draw a little rectangle down to the horizon,
Rumpus,
yeah. That's not the top, by the way. Can you alter it in the contrast? Can you change the contrast on that a little bit?
Possibly.
You're proving flat Earth by doing stupid things like this, man. What are you talking about? You're going to use the scale in the foreground to then measure something how many kilometers away?
Color corrections?
Really?
Contrast. And brightness.
It's got telescopic eyes.
No, the dude has a telescopic camera, remember? Is that better?
Hello. What?
Oh, playing through. Bloody hell. All right. So.
Can you scroll it? Yeah, that's about right there, yeah. I'll give you that.
33
is that
pixels.
Lubin, what we're seeing there?
Is that looming? Yes.
Lubin around the top of the knob, yeah. Is it super Lubin?
No, it's very slightly more than standard refraction.
Good stuff, that super lube, you know.
It is. It helps.
Lubes anything up.
Right, so that's 33 pixels tall.
Okay. 33?
Yes, 33 pixels tall is Mount Taranaki.
That's 33 pixels there, Rude.
33 there now. 33 pixels there 33 now. Now that's a very, very strange number to be pulling out your hat there, Ruhif.
Well,
I'm wondering, Ruhif, what's the pixel count for the refracted image?
This is the refracted image.
Okay, so
is it?
What's the,
so if there was a man standing on top of that mountain now and we shot him, he won't die.
Probably not. Anyway.
Okay, hold on. Just
are we doing this or not?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yep.
Let me just ask a question. I just have a question.
Yeah, but your questions are stupid though.
Okay, what's the pixel count of the non-refracted image?
We don't have a non-refracted image.
So how do you know it's a refracted image then?
Yeah. So what?
Because the atmosphere has a density gradient.
He's asking what your baseline is. How do you know that you're honoring the full mountain?
No, it's okay, mine of God. It's a stupid question. Carry on, Ruhif. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. All right, so it's 33. It's 33 pixels high, and we already have a scale. And our scale was for every 1348 pixels, it's 6.9 degrees. That was the scale we derived. All right, so we can work out how big that angular size is. I'll do this on screen, one sec. So 33 pixels divided by 3048 pixels times 6.9 degrees. All right, so the angular size of Mount Taranaki in this image is 0.17 degrees, right?
Just the fact that you're doing this proves flat Earth. Continue.
Okay, champ. All right. 28. Where are we? All right, so you want the size, and the angle was 0.17 degrees.
So basically, what we can gather from this is that you have 0 life.
Sure, champ. All right, so the actual size...
0. Less than 0, you're in the minuses, mate.
The actual size of what we can see is 636 meters.
Okay, 636 meters.
That's how much we can see.
Right, so let's go back to the image. Let's go back to the image. Because you said that there was no compression in the image.
Correct. Well, hang on, should we deal with observer height first?
Well,
because he's at 115.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I mean, we've already worked out there that it's 636 meters that's visible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we can just roll with that. So, what's the height of the mountain? It's 2,500.
2518.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So, according to your pixels and your angular size, you're saying that there's 1,900 feet of missing, yeah? Sorry, 1,900 meters. Yeah. Okay.
Just under, yeah.
So, let's go on to why you say there's no compression in this image.
Right. How wide is the mountain in this image? I'm going to go from about here to there. Because of the inferior mirage, it kind of drops off here and here. So how much is actually visible?
Widthways, we know that we never experience anything on the width side of stuff. The width side of stuff, things always stay the same. It's
Correct.
always
That's what I'm going to use to demonstrate there's no compression.
It's always but you can have the same width, but then you can get compression in the lower part of the image.
You can, but there's not any compression evident in this one.
What makes you think that?
Right. How did you eliminate? Right. How did you eliminate that as a variable?
Yes, because we're going to use the width of the visible part to demonstrate that.
You just contradicted yourself, Ruhif. You just contradicted yourself. But let me ask you a question real quick, because you mentioned the fact that there is an inferior mirage.
Yep.
Okay, so you do know then that at the fold line of the inferior mirage, that everything below and behind that is physically still there, correct?
Yes. Right.
Okay.
Do you know where the base of this mountain is? If this is 600 meters, all right, and that's about a quarter of the mountain, then we've got to go to around about there. That's where the base of the mountain is. Right?
With no compression.
But see, the problem though that the Mind of God pointed out in my question to you about the pixels is that we don't have a base from which to work. So whoever
what do you mean
took
base?
this, okay, hold on. I'll explain.
Actually, you hold on, because the doorbell just rang. I'll be back in a minute.
All right. So again, guys, the whole issue is we have one kill shot here, right? This is the kill shot. This is their black swan or whoever's black swan or whatever. But if you go back on repeated observations, that mountain is never going to be the same pixel size.
Mm. Well, I've got something to show. If you guys can see my screen right now, because I am sharing, so hopefully you can see this. So I took an image and I adjusted it for color and contrast, etc., and was able to get this much sharper image than the one Ruhif's presenting. It looks to me like on the right hand side of it, that's probably cloud, I would say, going over here. All this wishy-washy stuff over here looks like cloud. We do have some identifiable parts on the mountain which we can easily pick out to make sure that we are actually seeing the top of it. The problem is when we start to scale it to width, so it sort of lines up, it falls apart when it starts to get compressed. And we can see that with this little ledge on the left here. So there's a little ledge on the left-hand image over here. Can you see that ledge? Guys?
Yeah.
I most definitely can see the ledge.
Yeah, okay. So that ledge...
Yeah, I can see the ledge. Right.
Now that ledge is higher in this image than it is on the real picture, which is saying that we're already starting to see compression on the image, and that can be further proven by the fact of this area around here, this one that looks like it's got a little face on it. So
Brandon Toy just asked me to prove it's 600 meters.
Well, hang on, this little ledge here is this mountain in the foreground. There's a little hump of a mountain in the foreground into this area here.
Yeah, and that's about 2,200 meters.
You can see it here. Okay, you say that's 2,200 meters. This ledge. Okay.
No, the one above it. No.
Well, this is 2,200 meters.
No.
In
the Google image,
yeah,
it's about halfway between that bumpy knob and the top. No, not that one. On the silhouette.
Oh no. Sorry, mate.
Left, on the silhouette again. Left.
What are you saying?
I'll draw it. Hang on.
No. Hang on. Wait a minute. Let's just go back to this. Right, we are seeing this mountain in this image here, yeah? The one in the foreground.
You're talking about that little knob in the foreground?
Yeah, this little knob here, and that little ledge there, which is this little ledge there.
I don't agree with seeing that.
Well, we're seeing this ledge here. Can you see that ledge? Can you see how it comes down? And
I'm watching fucking 20 seconds old footage. Hold on.
Why aren't you watching? You should watch the Skype. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
So we've got a ledge here on the left-hand side, yeah?
Hang on.
Which is this ledge here. And we've got this.
No, we haven't got a ledge, and we haven't got a bump at the front either. No. So, sorry, Rick, I'm just jumping on your side for a minute there.
Yeah, there's no ledge and there's no bump. That's right. There's no bump. There's no ledge.
There's no bump.
But
in fact, there's no mountain.
But
there's no mountain because it's super lubing.
But these markers indicate that there's compression going on. These markers prove that.
Go back to the ledge that's halfway down on that purple bit.
Here, this ledge here. One? Yep.
That is 2,200 meters.
Okay, so that's 2,200 meters there, which is there.
No, that's ledge. Not it. Go up.
That's the ledge.
Go up. No.
Oh,
no.
you think it's here?
A little bit further down, but yeah, it's about halfway between that knob and the top. Yeah, roughly there.
Okay, and what about this mountain in the foreground?
I think unidentifiable.
Ah, okay. See, I worked this out, and that takes you about 1,300 feet down. Sorry, 1,300 meters down.
Yeah, and I think you're wrong.
Well, this is the features that you can see. This is the compression that we're saying. The image is compressed. It's clear that there's compression on the image. And if you've ever done photography over water, like I'm sure Travis has done plenty in his time, I don't know he has, and myself, we do see these. In fact, you can go to Red Pill Philosophies, you can also see that same effect on those window ledges in the distance, you know, when he's filming across the bay, and you can see the compression on the windows.
I've seen compression.
Yep.
How about we go and show why I don't think there's any compression in this one?
Well, here we have the inferior mirage at the bottom. Would you agree that we've got an inferior mirage running through? Yep. Okay, so we've got the inferior mirage. We've got this increased compression as it comes down to at least here, and all of this is a mirage in your mind. Even the clouds, because this I'm going to say that this is clouds over here on this side. Yeah. It looks to me like that's clouds going down that side of the mountain.
Yeah, it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the overlay.
And this sort of like crevasse. So, yeah. This crevasse is probably here.
But by the way, I'm going to include the clouds when we do this compression analysis. Yeah,
but what you're doing is you're taking this image at face value and just slapping it over it and saying, okay, there's 600 meters there, which, to be fair, is all missing anyway in your geometric globe model.
It's not.
So in your geometric globe model, it shouldn't be seen.
We have an atmosphere, Ranty. You know that we have an atmosphere.
So the fact that you're ignoring the obvious markers that are in this image, showing that there's compression, is debunking your idea that you can calculate what we're seeing just by using pixels.
Shall we do the compression analysis?
Go ahead. Do you want this image? Do you want this image, or have you got this image?
No. One sec. Fuck. No. I'll just use the one I got. So yes, I believe those are clouds here, but we're going to try and get a. So everything that's a fair width of the mountain.
You need to start sharing your screen again.
Oh, hang on. Did I stop? Whoops. Share screen. There we go. All right. Does everyone agree? Some dude in New Zealand.
Image? It's it's a flat earther.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Does everyone think that's a fair width of the mountain?
Yeah, we know that compression doesn't happen on the width through HIF.
Yes, correct.
Right.
Correct.
So it happens. Right. It happens elsewhere.
Right.
Wait. Why can't it happen left to right?
It just doesn't.
The image stretches left to right. As it compresses, it stretches out. It squashes.
And what you're also going to try and do is you're going to try and find where this mountain is behind the inferior mirage, because you can't see it. You've stopped at where you've stopped, but you've not taken into
effect. That's all we can see, right?
Yeah, but
that's all we can see.
You cannot measure compression like this.
Well, on this shaped mountain, yes, you can. We ready?
Go ahead.
All that's happening at the bottom now is obscured by an.
Yeah, you guys are already making excuses. That's all
it is.
No,
it's obscured by an optical phenomenon.
These are not.
It's like when you look down the road on a hot day and you see a reflection of the car, and the car disappears into the reflection. It's exactly the same principle, mate. You just not see the bottom because it's reflected into itself.
Does everyone agree that's a fair width for the mountain that we can see?
It's a refracted.
Does everyone agree Blue talks absolute nonsense?
It's not actual size. It's not actual size.
Exactly.
Whatever. Yeah. Have I captured what part of the mountain that we can see?
So the mountains fly on the globe, then.
This is not a difficult question. The fact that you guys are so heavily into excuses already.
We already know.
To what degree of accuracy?
Within a couple of pixels, whatever.
Okay, yes, we'll give you that. We'll give you that. Go
Is
ahead.
it like within 163 feet when the actual observer height's about 15 feet? Like that time when you
I don't have the
calculated that?
memory for it, Rudolph. I completely
do,
forget
mate.
what you're talking about. All right. Anyway, I've got this. If you can see up here, this is 121 pixels wide. All right. 121 pixels wide, and we already have a scale for this image. And that scale was every 1,348 pixels is 6.90 degrees. So we can work out the angular width of, hang on.
So you're just going to completely ignore the compression?
No, I'm demonstrating that there is no compression. We will get there if you guys stop making excuses. All right, 121, 1348.
Okay, again, they are not excuses, Ruhif. They're not excuses. They're a part of the analysis, okay? It's not
Exactly.
an excuse. The fact that you are ignoring how refraction is affecting this image is just another demonstration of your correspondence with me privately, where you are ignoring refraction. You ignore it. Now let me say this real quick.
Sorry,
Okay,
every
hold
time
on.
I come in here, I talk about refraction. That's hilarious.
No. You're ignoring refraction in terms of how it affects reality. So let me say this real quick, and then you can carry on with your number crunching.
Right.
When you have that inferior mirage, you need to realize that everything below and behind that is the base of the mountain that you are saying is missing. It's still there, right in
It's
front
below
of you.
the horizon.
No, it's not below the horizon. It's behind the mirage, straight in front of you. Everything that you're looking at right now is straight in front of you.
Yeah. So this is the top of the mountain, right? And the base would be around about there.
Yes, if it wasn't compressed.
Right, and we're about to demonstrate why there's no compression.
Oh,
okay?
Dearie me.
All right. So this, in pure angular size, with no, compression or whatever, that's how big the mountain is.
And how do you know that?
Just based off the scale we worked out.
No, you worked out the refracted scale. Now you're talking about the angular.
No. The scale that the camera makes. This is the camera's scale. Right? This is the field of view.
Yeah, again, you were gone when I made this point. If this were your photo, again, like I said to Miles Davis and Soundly and everybody else, go out on numerous other occasions,
we know
and you will not have the same image. You don't have
it. If I'd hate to work with you,
don't
mate,
have an
in a workplace that was dangerous. You'd be dangerous. You're lethal, mate. You're such an ignoramus. You just carry on like a racehorse with blinkers on. You're so dangerous, mate. Ignorance is dangerous, mate.
Yeah. Righto. Are we doing this?
I don't know. I think you should. I think you should super chat Ranty if you're going to keep drolling on about this stuff.
All right. So we've got an angular width for the amount of Mount Taranaki that we can see, and it was 0.62 degrees. Everyone agree with that? 0.62 degrees. So now what we're doing is we're going to go to Taranaki. Where is it? It's not it, is it? It's way up here. Is it?
Do you ever get that feeling when no one's agreeing with you?
Yeah, that's
why you guys. That's why you guys are flat earthers. Now, what we're going to do?
Well, we're not sure we're not sure what your punchline is. You're just calculating a bunch of stuff and going to a bunch of stuff. Like, what are you doing?
Okay. Would you like me to explain what I'm doing?
From a high level, walk us through what the hell you're doing, man. Like what normal people do.
We just worked out that we can see 0.62 degrees of the width of Mount Taranaki. All right, so now we're going to measure. We're going to put some polygons down at various heights. So, whoops. We're going to stick that one at, say, 1,800 meters. And make it pretty. Boom. So this will show you what you can see above 1,800 meters. All right.
So so you're just completely ignoring the compression. And the
No,
inferior
I'm
mirage.
I'm about to demonstrate that we can't see any lower than about 1,800, 1,900 meters.
Okay, well you do that, and
Okay,
then
okay.
I'll do
Randy,
something right after.
Okay.
Let me 1 second, Ruth. Let me, for the sake of the audience, because you're just rambling. Like, let me explain what you're doing, because we know the tricks you play. So you're using in the foreground. You're using two things that are known physical distance apart and calculating some notion of angular size versus the number of
the
pixels,
scale
right?
for the photo.
Okay.
Yes, the scale.
So now you have that ratio. Okay. So now you're going to go and apply that to the best that you can, capturing the lateral and I guess vertical is probably the biggest punchline of the mountain in the distance.
We've
and then
done
you're
the
going
vertical,
to prove, and then you're going to prove that that is the amount that should actually be seen relative to the, now you're on Google Earth, right?
All right,
and you're putting, you're slicing a plane through the mountain, and then whatever that width is, you're going to say that that matches on the image, right?
Yep.
Okay. So just for the sake of the audience, man, because no one has any idea. I'm just reading the chat. No one has any idea what you're doing.
I know, because you guys keep talking, and if you watch, you will learn.
No, because you didn't explain your punchline. You're just doing a bunch of crap, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna draw some headings now from the. Here we go. From the lookout, and we're going to see on our 1,800 meters level how much of the mountain we can see widthwise. So we can see here. All right. So we're going to measure from here across to here and see what its angular width is. Okay. So we can measure to there, 340.97.
So you actually think that's an actual size?
What's an actual size?
The image that
does.
you're measuring right now, you think that that's actual size?
This polygon shows you what's visible above 1,800 meters.
That's a digital representation. It's not even a photo, bro.
Plain truth. Plain truth. He doesn't believe it's the actual size, but he believes it's consistent with the numbers in the foreground. That ratio. He believes that holds in the distance. That's his assumption.
Okay. Did people? Let's go do this again because you guys are talking.
Well, no, I'm saying that's a stupid assumption, but keep going if you want. So.
Right. So we're measuring from the left edge, which is 340.97, to the right edge, which is 341.69. So that is 0.72 degrees wide. All right. But we can only see 0.62 degrees. So we can see less of the mountain. We have to increase the height of this polygon.
So 0.7 versus 0.6. So we're seeing what? We're seeing 85. Wait, hold on. We're seeing 85% of the width of that mountain. Yeah?
Above 1,800 meters. This polygon
above
is at
1,800 meters. Right, okay.
Right. So we have to increase the height of the polygon and shrink how much we can see.
Okay. So
let's increase the height of the polygon. Let's go to 1,900 meters.
So you have just done what we've said, but you're completely ignoring the compression.
No, this is demonstrating that there's not compression. If there was compression, we would see lower altitude.
We don't see lower because the mountain's wider than what it is, and that ledge on the side of the mountain is clearly stretched out either way. So there's some sort of optical effect going on there.
Right.
We can see 0.62 degrees of the mountain widthwise.
Okay.
Now we're measuring. Now we're measuring at what height. So this polygon, I can set the height of this polygon. It's now 1,900 meters. All right. So I'm measuring the edge there, 341.02.
And the other side. Can you squash the mountain down on your little image there on Google Earth? Squash it down and stretch it out.
341.63. All right. So that.
The bottom piece of it. Look at how it's mirrored at the bottom.
This. We're talking width. We're talking horizontal here. This is to demonstrate because the mountain
stretches out wider as it compresses on the horizon.
There's no compression left to right. Compression left to right's not a thing.
Right. Let's have a look at some identifiable features. Can you see?
The part that's below the horizon line is pulling out, and the part slightly above it is also pulling out of it, and that's why
if we could see below 1,900 meters, we would have a wider mountain.
Okay, Ruhif, let me ask you a question real quick.
Yep.
Have you ever gone out on the field and taken repeated observations with video or still?
No, yes.
I've taken plenty of shots of the horizon, like the angle down to the horizon.
Done 3.
I've done like 50.
Okay, of the horizon with any objects on the horizon, or just the horizon?
Oh, usually boats. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't believe you have enough experience under your belt to be talking about this.
Okay, champ. So when I have evidence, you just dismiss it. Of course you do.
Right, can you see my screen, guys?
No. You have evidence, but you are misinterpreting it because you are inexperienced.
Okay, champ. All right, so I've moved the polygon up to 1900 meters. So this is how much is visible width-wise. And it's about 0.61 degrees, which is the same width that we see in the photo. Okay, if we could
But
see...
Rui, if he's got a point, you haven't got physical, personal experience, and you're measuring something that's covered in cloud.
Yeah,
And
I'm
measuring
being
something that
generous.
you haven't taken the angular size reduction into consideration.
That's not a thing page.
Rui, if it is, things get smaller in the distance. It's
and that's called
ridiculous to say
perspective.
they don't.
That's called perspective. What
Yeah, and you need
what
to account
changed?
for that.
show me how to account for it.
Rui,
It's not.
the fact that you are squashing something from the top down means that it will widen side to side.
No,
That's
it will not
yes,
widen
you can
side to
see it.
side.
Look at the picture. You can
Bruniff,
see
that is
it's
a
squashed and
completely-
fatter. You've got
That's
to
cloud. We've all agreed that's cloud.
Surrender with that
No,
thing
not
saying,
all
no,
of
they're
them.
not identical. It's covered
Okay.
in cloud, mate. How are you
Right.
getting a measurement side to side when it's got all that cloud on the side of it?
Because I was being generous to you guys and making it
I
as
just
wide
want
as
you to be
possible.
generous to us. We just want the truth. We don't want made up just those
because
stories.
some people will say, oh, that's not cloud, that's mountain. So I've included it in the width to make it wider.
If they-
Being
That's
generous
mountain,
to you,
it's fucking
like some
stupid.
sort of arbitrary
Talk
proof, Rudolph. Get over yourself, man.
You guys are hilarious.
But Rue, if you're doing everything on a computer screen, you haven't actually gone out into real life like Ranty has, like
Absolutely
Travis
I have.
has.
So tell us, where did
They have day after day looking at the exact same observation, seeing it in all different weathers, all that kind of stuff. That makes a difference. It gives you experience.
Yeah,
You don't
I've
have
been
that.
up on North
You-
Head
you
at
sit
least
a
20
computer
times.
screen trying to measure something in the distance using pixels from things in the foreground. It's ludicrous. Don't you
Really ludicrous,
understand?
you guys.
It's like calculation. You said 50 and then you just said 20.
I've been to North Head at least 20 times.
Well
I've
done,
been to my
champ.
Mossman lookout dozens of times. North Head's nice because it's higher. It's like 78 meters or something.
So,
And I've been to California to replicate Jay Tolan's shit-house experience.
Ruhip, we don't accept your use of those ratios like just like that. That's,
Well, then you reject how cameras work, champ.
no,
Yeah, I
reject-
definitely
I-
don't accept using foreground to measure background.
Right.
Cameras
and-
measure angles.
And the
A
amount of
pixel is an
information,
angle.
the amount of information that's in that distant mountain is non-linear with respect to the foreground. So you trying to like capture a rectangle to get all the information, that's a problem. So it's
It's
information.
only a problem because it
pixel.
proves the globe, champ.
No, it doesn't.
No, Ruth. Oh my God.
Well, wait. Well, let's
Why-
entertain
why
that.
does
So
it-
what,
why does it
you
match
are
the
such an
calc so
arrogant,
well?
What would it look like?
patronising little fuck,
Isn't
aren't
he?
you?
what would it look like on a flat Earth? What's missing on the
Fucking
flat
little
Earth?
What would it
Snake
look
teeth.
like on a flat Earth?
Yeah. How is that a unique solution to the globe then? What
It would
would you
look-
expect on a flat Earth?
It would look roughly like that.
Like what?
How do you know? How do you know what it would look like?
Well, actually, it would look like a bit more like that,
Atmosphere
actually.
and with
Refraction.
refraction and with compression and with all these other things that happen in the atmosphere. How the hell do you know what it would
Compression
look
is
like? It looks
way
different
rarer than
every
you
day.
guys think.
But Rumpus or Ruhif, sorry, for you to say that it's a proof of the ball, you would need to know in an exclusive sense why it cannot work on a flat
Yeah,
Earth.
Exactly, in an exclusive sense.
When I use the word proof,
Yes,
I usually catch myself and go, oh, you can't actually prove things.
correct.
So this
correct.
is highly consistent with the ball and highly
Well-
inconsistent with a flat Earth.
no,
Well, you
we
can-
say
you
it's
can
highly
prove things
consistent with
now.
flat Earth.
How? Like,
well, you've still got to tell. Right, Ruhif, we can
Demonstrate.
go further. We will go further soon. Trust me, we will go further.
Yeah.
But
well, I've only got
Tell us.
5 more minutes anyway.
all right, tell us why do we see it, Ruhif?
Why do you see it? Because you should see it.
No, you shouldn't. Why
Because
should
it's
you
there.
see it?
You should see it. How on earth would you not see it?
Because it shouldn't
Is this
be
just a
there.
refraction thing? No,
What?
it should be
Okay,
there.
hold on real quick.
The
Why should it be there?
Hold on.
The atmosphere has a density gradient. The typical density gradient bends light down, lifts objects up.
Okay, so let me ask you this question, Ruhif. Since you said that you should see it, are
Yep.
you saying that you should see it every single day in every condition?
Well, it depends on the actual visibility.
So then how do you know that you should see it? How do you know conditions
Because
are
the
just
typical
right?
density gradient bends it down, and therefore it should be above the horizon.
No, show us the data that you can prove that by, please.
Oh, I don't know where the soundings are in New Zealand, but the typical density or typical lapse rate is about 6.5 degrees Celsius per kilometre.
Okay, can you prove that on this day that was the density gradient? Well, you're making the claim, Ruhif. You're making the claim. And
I will show you. I will show you the. Where are we? Hang on.
No, I don't want you to show me numbers. I want you to show me the measured lapse rate on this day from this location, all the way across.
How about you ask the guy that took the observation whether he measured the lapse
You're
rate?
making the claim about something that you can't verify.
No, you guys are making the claim that this is a flat Earth proof. You would need to know the density gradient and lapse rate.
No, we know what proof is.
No, that's incorrect.
Oh dear. Brandon Toy, it's perfectly natural for the globe to look like it's flat. It's rare for it to look like it's flat. You have to be close to the surface.
It always looks like it's flat.
So
You
where-
always are making excuses as to why it looks the way it would look.
Where is the 1900 meters of mountain?
Really, if we have an atmosphere.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. And when you
Okay,
look at
Ruhif,
things in the distance, the deck will rise up and the sky will lower, so the deck can look like it obstructs things that are way off in the distance.
Okay, Ruhif, I know that you aren't an avid watcher of my channel, so I'll just recapitulate what I've said before. I'm not going to speak for anybody else who goes out and takes photographs, but I'm going to say that there is more than one effect happening in an observation. You can't just say, oh, this is the only thing that's happening. So not only is refraction compressing, that is diminishing the size of that mountain, but also the inferior mirage is obstructing a certain amount of the base, and you cannot put a value on that. You have no way of gauging what that is. So when you ask the question on the value, what did you say? Where's 1,300 meters? Is that what the number was?
I think
So
Ramsey
where's
said.
Well, you said where's XYZ amount of meters, right? You gave a number or value for that, right?
Oh, where is 1900 meters missing?
Okay, where is 1,900 meters missing? It's a combination of the compression and the inferior mirage. And I'm sorry, my friend, you cannot figure that out.
Well,
Okay, if it was
okay.
compressed,
Listen, hang on.
if it was compressed and we were seeing, if it's compressed, right, that means we are seeing lower down than we actually are. If we are seeing lower down than we actually are, we would see a wider mountain.
Okay, right.
There would
Listen.
be
Not
mountain over here.
necessarily, no.
Well, then we're not compressing.
Right, hang on. I've got you've got 5 minutes, Ruhif. Right, so just walk me through this. Yeah. So I'm just looking at the top of this mountain. I'm just trying to line up the very tops. Now, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Can you see this knob here and the knob here and the ledge there and the ledge there? Are you going to say that that's?
Point again.
Can you see the
yeah.
very top of the mountain, the very top
Yep.
part? Would you agree that that's pretty close?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if I was to sort of like do a blink test, it would probably. Yeah.
Do a blink test, and then you could probably do it.
Yeah. I can't do a blink test, mate, because I don't have the software for that. But let me just put my marker on there so that I know that's the centre of that, and then I'll just lower it down because you said there was only 600 feet. So there we go. There we go. So that's about right. Okay, so that's scale.
Hey, Randy.
That's half the mountain.
Randy,
Ruhif.
Look at
How
that
come the size of
left-hand
the mountain-
side, how far
how
off
come the
it
size-
is.
Yeah.
That's
How come
half the
size of this
mountain.
Yeah.
And then let's
Wow,
go.
That's really weird.
And now let's go across. So obviously we're seeing that in the foreground. That mound there is that hill, that mountain in the foreground.
I disagree. That's not in the foreground. It's close.
But what's interesting is that ledge here, the one that's further away in the distance, is sorry, the one in the foreground is actually lower than the ledge on the left. Now it can't be any other ledge on the left. This ledge here on the right. There's no other ledge it can be.
No,
and we can start to see the compression, the inferior mirage. And you said there's this mountain is 2,500 feet high, right? So even scaled, that's half of the mountain there. So where were you getting? Why were you saying there was only 600? There's at least 1,300 feet, and I've just scaled it. Just
that
by
ledge.
Yeah.
That ledge halfway down is 2,200 meters. You can see it on Google Earth.
Right, hang on, just one
second.
second.
Do you reckon you can?
I've just scaled the top of the mountain for you. Just scaled it for you. You agreed that it's scaled up properly and it's at the same height.
Oh, not quite. I'll scale it properly later.
That's half the mountain. That's 13.
Do you think you can demonstrate?
Wait, hold on just a minute. Would you agree that's 1,300? If the mountain is 2,500 meters tall, that's half the height of the mountain, scaled just on the image.
What's the base of the mountain? No, I don't think it's half. No.
There's the green line going through the bottom is the floor, basically. That's it.
Yeah, the floor, the base of the mountain's about 800 meters or so, thereabouts.
So let's get.
What I was going to say before I go was, do you think you can demonstrate
that the
observer height
don't
is
go
about
yet.
115 meters?
Just a minute.
I've got to go.
Yeah, just don't go yet because I just need to.
He's desperate to go, Randy.
Yeah. So let's.
He's painted himself into a corner. He really needs to go now.
So this is why I announced why I'm leaving, by the way.
There's one to the floor.
Are you scared of us?
Yes, I'm absolutely scared of all of you.
Maybe 1,000 meters as opposed to 600. You claim 600. I'm going to say there's 1,000 meters there that we're seeing of the mountain at least. That's without any compression that's going on, and that's just by scaling it from there. We can take it down to there, and then that's about half again, then just to the bottom. So, yeah, about 1,000 meters. Now you said that you'd scaled it, and you said it was 636 meters. But just by scaling it this way, we can prove that there's and we can see these things in the image, so we know that they are there. And that ledge here, that's half the mountain view. It's not 600 meters.
I'll do an overlay for you later, Ranty. Can you demonstrate, given what I've given you, can you demonstrate that the observer height is 115 meters?
No, because I didn't take the video, but I've seen where it's been taken from, and I can. Yeah. I would say that
there's council contour maps, and there is a geodetic survey mark as well on the actual top of the mountain.
Right. So let's not forget though. Okay. Well, see you later then, Ruth. But let's not forget that none of this should be seen on a globe. None of it. Nothing. Not a single thing of it. But we see it.
I don't understand how he thinks it's okay to measure the pixels in the foreground and measure and get an angular size of something way off in the distance. That's like me going, okay, this tree I'm looking at right in front of me is the same height as that pole all the way down the end of the street. So therefore they're the same size. But they're not. The tree's tiny, the pole's big.
Yeah, he thinks that ratio is preserved, but we've seen from Life is Short's work that the information in a pixel is nonlinear, which makes sense. So agreed. That nearness, the stuff close does not work down.
For the
Definitely
stuff
not.
far away. Absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't work. That's common sense to us, but these people,
Well,
whatever.
they need it to be that way for their math to work. You just saw him, say that it was a globe because of that.
Yeah, exactly. Because that amount that's lost they're just going to say it's Earth curve. So there'll always be a piece that's lost. Yeah. And that's their story. So.
Who was it that did the video of the 73 excuses for Earth curve? It's like, okay, they've got one thing that it is, but yet they'll tell us that they've got looming and compression and atmosphere and all these other things. It's like, they're not excuses. They're actual things that happen in reality. This is what... Yeah. We can't. It's not that you can't trust your eyes. You just what you're seeing with your eyes isn't it's not a real representation of reality, because the things in the distance are tiny when they're not really.
Yeah. That was Tim Osmond, by the way, Paige. But yeah, I agree. They're not excuses. They're not excuses. They're actual real. They're actual real things. All the variables that would be needed to mathematically depict what is physical and how it's being represented in an image. So yeah, it's probably not even that list. There's probably more. So they're making a list that's long, and it's probably more. So
I mean, there's some amazing things that go on in the atmosphere. Things it does, things I've seen in Travis's videos and Ranty's videos. Shit that's going on. It's amazing.
Yeah. Their lack of interest in assuming lateral compression is they assume that the gradient, the atmosphere, is pretty stable across the width, because it's not that far apart. But when you're talking about the base of a mountain, we don't know if that assumption is even good, laterally. So they're just hand waving everything. It's just,
well, we know they love to just assume, don't we?
Right.
Yeah, the one thing that I would say is that it's not 73 excuses. It's 73 things that we can't be.
They call them excuses, but they're actual things that really happen, so you need to account for them. That's just all there is to it.
The first time I started talking about this, I think with the Stenoline was one of the first times that I did a presentation on this, and the effect has been seen dozens and dozens of times, not just by me, but by lots of different people. And this was the first time that I actually did a comparison of it, and you can see it on the Stenoline. You can still read the Stenoline, you can see the orange underneath the boat. And what I did is I cropped out the top part of this image here. I cropped it out and I scaled it to width, and I lined it up with the original image, and it all lined up. Everything lined up perfectly. There was no, there was no angular change or anything. Everything outside of that very narrow band towards the ocean stayed the same. There was no change. But then when it got nearer the ocean, it just compressed and it squashed. And you can definitely see that. You can definitely see that.
Yes.
So, who've we got? Who's joining now? Let's see. Somebody's trying to join.
Ruhiv had to go to bed. It's bedtime for him.
He's just woken up. His brain probably hasn't started working yet, and he's thought, "Oh shit! I better not open my mouth too many times. I'll say something that I'll get."
It might be true. Yeah, he might be true.
It might be true. Am I allowed to change the subject completely, Ranty?
Yeah, I mean, I think, because to be honest, I mean, I'd planned just a general chit chat. Ruhif joined immediately as soon as the show started and wanted to talk about that observation. So, yeah, I mean, by all means, what have you got for us, Paige?
I was just thinking about something Brenda said in the show the other day about how we're not allowed to have opinions on facts. Now, I'm going to make an analogy, and the analogy has nothing to do, like what I'm going to say has nothing to do with that. It's about the analogy between these two things. She was born a boy, decided that fact wasn't to her liking, and chose to live her life a different way. Now she's coming telling us that her facts, things she believes are facts, are things we are not allowed to have a different opinion on. Now, this kind of thinking is extremely dangerous. You cannot single out one group of people and say, it's okay for me to think this way, but it's not okay for you to do the same thing. If you want free speech, if you want free will, if you want to be allowed to live your life, you cannot impose your facts on somebody else. It would be the same as me coming to her, going to her channel, coming into her videos and harassing her saying, you need to act like a man because you were born a man, therefore that is a fact. You don't have a right to have an opinion on that fact. And that's not right. She has a right to live her life. And I have no problem with Brenda's gender. It has nothing to do with me. It doesn't affect me. What affects me is her saying we're not allowed to have our own opinion. So I don't want to hear any bullshit about, that I can't stand her being transgender or whatever, because it's got nothing to do with that. If I could think of another analogy, I'd use it, but I can't. That's the best one I can think of at the moment. But yeah, it just, we see this kind of crap with the Black Lives Matter movement at the moment. White people aren't allowed to say all lives matter, but saying all lives matter includes black people, doesn't it? All means all. Yet to include ourselves. This Black Lives Matter thing,
that shouldn't represent real black people, mate. At the end of the day, I've seen videos on Facebook and that. I've seen videos on Facebook.
People coming out saying
gangs of black guys, mate, in London, hammering white guys on their own, mate, and the police are not doing nothing about it.
They're doing it here in Australia too. Yeah, over one black man dying. I mean, it was. If it happened, it was wrong. That's not the point. The point is black people die of all kinds of things. More black people get killed by other black people, but there's no riots over that, is there? They just want to divide us. They want to point out our differences and say the differences.
Mate, it's all funded by that George Soros and that. It's there. It's online. They're fucking paying people to turn up at places and
leaving
proper riots and that.
For them. Yeah.
You've seen videos of the local people telling them to piss off because they don't want their own business ruined and all that because
and
they're
white
not from that
people
town.
Protesting. It's like, hang on, if the black people don't even want you doing this, why are you doing it? It's none of your business. Like,
that's it, mate.
You're trying to say that if one black person experiences a bit of hatred, it means all black people are oppressed and all black people are hopeless and need our help. And no, black people, they have, it's ridiculous. There's black sports people, there's black entertainers, there's rich black people everywhere. There is no such fucking thing as racism. They just want you to think there is.
Just real quick.
Black people, they'll tell you they've never experienced it.
Right. Yeah, just real quick. I'm sure a lot of us know this standard already, but if no one does, I think it's worth repeating. And that is that when we see something on the mainstream news that goes global, more than likely we can bet the bank or bet the farm that it's a propaganda piece. Because I was just for example, I was watching another channel. This older gentleman's doing his own news and independent researcher and stuff. I really like him a lot. He's just really low key. Just this guy could be your dad or your grandpa, just a normal guy. And he brought up these two deaths of white people, a white woman and a white man. The woman was killed by a black officer, and the man was killed by an Hispanic officer. Now, he said at the very beginning, how many of you heard of this? How many of you heard of these events? I hadn't. The reason why was because it wasn't a part of the global propaganda. So not every death goes global. Why did this one go global? Why?
Because it fit their narrative. It fit their agenda.
Okay, but not only that, but we have two people that were white that were killed by quote unquote. I don't even know if I'm going to say minorities anymore. I don't think there's any such thing as a minority, but a black officer and a Hispanic officer, right? But we don't hear about that, and I think that there's a good reason why. If it's a local event and it really happened, it's not going to go global.
Yeah, it's like the Aussie woman who was shot by white Australian woman who was in America was shot by another white police officer.
That's her. Yeah, that's her.
Yeah. Why weren't there riots all over the world? White lives matter. Why is it only because skin colour is different that it automatically becomes
my family's race at the end of the day? And but at the end of the day, we've got black MPs. 80% of the music industry is black. Mate, they're making big money in there.
Sports stars.
Black people have got the same rights as everybody else, mate. It's what you try to obtain in your life.
Responsibility anymore. They want to be able to do whatever they want and then blame their social
Yeah, this other shit is just all bullshit,
they were
mate.
born and
Just
the
people
skin
who
they
want
were
trouble.
born in. They want to blame that. It's not my fault. I'm black. I was oppressed. I haven't had the same rights or the same opportunities as white people. That's rubbish. There's white people that live in trailer parks. There's white people that are poor. There's white people that have no
Trade as well all the
opportunity.
time, and they revert back. They revert back hundreds of years, mate. When you're talking to these crazy brainwashed people, mate, they start talking about slave trades and that from hundreds of years ago. At the end of the day, every single continent in the world has partook in slave trade at some point or another. The Ottoman Empire did it, the Chinese did it, everyone did it, mate. Everybody did it.
Yep.
Everybody took slaves, and everybody fought wars. Everybody did nasty stuff to each other in the old days. It's nowadays we're living different lives. There's none of that shit. It needs to be either squashed or get over yourself, mate. It's like if you believe in this virus, instead of going out with all your fucking PPE equipment on, mate, just sellotape your front door up and stay in your house. Do us all a favour. Stay in there, mate. You know what I mean? Don't come out.
It's racist to point these things out and to say that all black people are oppressed and all white officers are going to hurt a black person because of their skin colour. That's what's racist.
Okay, I need to shout out FE News for his super chat. He says, Globy's myth believers have given up doing geometry for this nonsense. It definitely has compression. So thank you for the $5 super chat there and backing us up with the image that Ruhif was saying didn't have any compression in. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, all this these riots that are going off and stuff. It just seems to me like it's staged in many ways. Like it was sort of like orchestrated. Like a lot of it was hyped up to make people behave in a certain way. Because there's no racism here where I live. I've never
racism.
I've never experienced it, never seen it ever. I've never seen a black person being abused or a Chinese person being abused at all or anything like that. It just doesn't happen. So I mean, I've no idea if it just happens in a very small part of the world, perhaps, where there's still some disagreements going on. It is possible.
Where I used to live in Manchester, mate, I was the minority. There was only 3 white guys where I used to live, and it was sound. There's no racism, mate. There's none of that nonsense. It's all just
there is in America. There is in America for sure, without a doubt.
I can't speak for you guys.
Yeah, so here in Australia, we will joke around with other races and call, you call an Italian a wog, and you call a Chinese person a ching, and you call an Aussie a skip. We don't pick on one race. We poke fun at everyone. Like that's just the Aussie sense of humour. If you can't take a bit of a dig, then you're going to have a pretty shitful life if you can't just, laugh some things off.
But it's, as I say, here in the UK we don't really have it. You're saying we don't see it much in Australia either. It's more banter, but
more banter than hatred. Yeah, absolutely.
What's different in America then? Because I've never been to America, so I wouldn't know. So. I don't know what it's like over there.
Is he like gangs of white people and gangs of black people roaming around having big street fights like on,
No,
West Side Story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's racism.
I have never.
It's isolated to individuals again, innit? To incidents again. Somebody could be racist, yeah, but society as a whole isn't racist. Somebody as a person could be
to
racist
assume
to somebody
all
else,
of the people that are that person's colour are the same. That's racist to assume that just because one person is like that.
If somebody is racist to another person's face, it usually gets solved there and then, doesn't it? It usually ends in a fight or an argument or whatever, and it's resolved there and then. It's not like you can't run round, mate, in gangs of people, mate, demanding people don't be racist, because, not like... It's just a small vein in society, mate, and you're never going to change everybody's opinion. Unless you want total dictatorship, mate, where everybody's in a grey tracksuit, white trainers, everybody's eating food pills, drinking the same
the Hunger
thing.
Games.
You know what I mean? Then you can have that. But if you want to suffocate opinion, then you can do that again. But at the end of the day, somebody's always going to have that opinion, mate. At the end of the day, somebody somewhere's always going. You're never going to snuff it out completely, mate. Like I say,
and this is what
I never.
This is what I'm trying to get at. with the globe and the flat Earth. Like, you know, Brenda said you can't have a different opinion on 2 + 2. Well, I can get to 4 a different way, and it's still correct. You know, just because they have come up with a story to explain the end result, well, we can do that too. It's just a different story.
Okay, listen, there's some people in chat that are saying, oh, they need to change the subject, etc., etc. But there was one comment, actually, that stuck out from Aaron Armstrong, who says, not good for your channel, you have a group of whites commentating on black history. Do you know what? Yeah, I mean, it's like, we're still allowed an opinion here, and, you know, I have absolutely no animosity whatsoever with anyone. White, black, Chinese.
Group of white people commenting on black. So, why can black people not talk about white people's history? I mean, where does you
no, they'd be perfectly allowed to talk about anything they want to. Yeah,
you know,
it's just a subject. It's just
all we're saying
of a conversation, you moron.
And all we're saying here
like that
is
cause the problem
here in the UK, because Aaron's from Australia, so maybe he lives in a different part of Australia. I don't know. Maybe he's got a different opinion in New Page, but here in the UK, we don't really have racism at all.
No, in fact, he hasn't seen it either.
In fact, it's so level playing field. It's unbelievable, you know, and that's the way it should be. You know, there shouldn't be any differences. I don't go around and I don't look at somebody and look at them and think, oh, they're black or they're Chinese. You just look at them as a normal human.
They're black.
Same as me, and I don't expect that they look at me differently.
Opinion, yeah. Instead of everybody complaining about clashing lives in small countries and all peeped in together, why didn't our governments and systems help all them other countries properly and go and sort their standard of living out and raise it up with everybody else? That's the why are all these countries left to, you know, why are all these countries allowed to be picked away and the system goes there and drains them and leaves them in the dirt? You know,
there's no racism. There is no racism on this panel. So we've got this professor, I don't know who he is, but we've got professor in the chat who keeps saying this is racist, this is bad, blah, blah, blah. So I'm beginning to wonder who this professor is. But anyway,
well, like I said, my family's mixed race, mate.
Nobody, no. So he's
them, mate, and none of them would ever say anything to me.
So he's saying
none of my like black family would ever say anything to me. We could have this conversation now openly and freely, and none of them would ever say anything. If I said to him, everyone's had slaves, they'd say, yeah, no.
My two oldest children are half Hispanic. And my youngest is half Italian. If that makes me racist, my God. If I'm a racist, then nobody's got any hope.
No, Paige, don't get confused. We're not talking about individuals like this. We're talking about in the system and financial. So here, I'll give you one example, like just to give you guys a personal, somebody's asking me to prove it in the chat. So the way it gets expressed here in America, for example, this was like years ago. Like I went to like a bar or something, and then and we've had lawsuits related to this kind of thing here in Houston in particular, where you'll go to a place that's maybe a bit more upscale or known to attract a particular group of people, and then at the door the bouncer will say, "Oh no, we don't allow people with like white shoes," or just they'll make up something, and then
no tie, no.
Just
whatever. Like then.
All right. So what? All right then. So if a black American football player turns up there, blasting cash around, making it rain, that'll just fade away in an instant, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's that's what I'm saying. It's in the instant. It's the situation. You're never going to change that. But like I said, if somebody else rolled up, mate, with a big pile of money, that guy who's judging everyone on the white shoes, mate, it's doing brittle away.
You know, people do that. They make up clubs and shit, and they just have. You know, like when you were little and boys would have a cubby house and have no girls allowed on the door. So that's just
right. My family, my brother-in-law, who's mixed race Jamaican, and my sister, they're in a much better position financially than me at the minute, and I'm white. So I mean,
yeah. Where's your white privilege?
You're like, where's my white privilege? Yeah, you know, it's bullshit, mate. It's just a word. It's made up.
I think that's the problem where I hope you guys don't actually believe what you're saying, that you think it's just on a personal level. Like using my example before I got cut off,
So how do you think we've got black MPs in Parliament?
But one second, let me finish my point.
Let me finish my point. At the minute,
let me finish my point.
He hasn't been to America, so he might have a perspective that we've never heard of.
Rude, you're talking makes you want to believe what you're saying, but I'm giving you a counter example and you're talking so I don't say it. So that's telling.
Yeah, but
right?
that's what I mean. You're giving just one situation. I mean, you blanket.
I told you there are lawsuits that people are actually filing lawsuits against establishments not allowing certain people in. And it's not just an African American thing. I'm like East Indian, so the quote racism, like Indian girls or Indian guys, they're filing lawsuits too. So it's not necessarily just
all right, but we
quote African
say that
American
over here in the UK. We've got Muslim rape grooming gangs that are going around. I know about it myself. I knew about it years ago in Rotherham and Rochdale, and our system's covering up for it. And we're not hearing about it on our news.
You're just blabbering on about stuff that is actually supporting my point that racism can exist. But dude, racism can exist. Racism can exist. I don't know why you're just rambling, dude. Racism can exist against all different races. That's the point. It's not just one group.
Just a black and white thing.
But then, if someone's racist against a whole group of people, all different races, then I mean, there's not what can you do about that. If the racist against everyone,
it's on them, not the other person.
It's just life. So I'm not saying I have the solution, but to deny that it exists against
but
different.
That's what I'm saying. Individual people, yes, individual.
No,
people
in America, I'm telling you. In America, for example, I'm telling you.
So you think your system in America is purely racist? I couldn't believe that, mate, because you wouldn't.
Now you sound like a baller. Now you sound like a baller. You're taking my statement and extrapolating it out. I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Did I say every single nightclub denies people?
That's where all the big money is. If you look in sports, it's predominantly black. I'm not even like saying it in a racist way, mate. You know, black people make a lot of money in America, mate. All right, there's people that don't. But there's people that do and don't in both situations. No matter whether you're white, black, Chinese, Indian, Mexican. Don't
overgeneralize, dude. That you're projecting.
That's what you're doing, though.
You're projecting your own guilt. You're projecting whatever. You're projecting whatever guilt you feel out onto me when I'm just telling you isolated examples.
No guilt, mate.
Well, why are you extrapolating my stories? Why are you extrapolating? Why are you extrapolating? Why are you interrupting? Why are you interrupting and extrapolating? Why are you interrupting and extrapolating my points out to everybody? Why do you feel compelled to extrapolate my story out to all people in America, which I'm obviously not doing?
Point.
That's you extrapolating for some reason. I wonder why you're doing that. Why are you doing that?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not doing that, mate. At the end of the day,
I'm not doing that.
And you're saying that this isn't like a big racist thing.
Hang on. Can I just ask
I'm not applying it to all people. I'm just giving you an example of what has happened in my own life and lots of people. So
I could give you examples of racism against white people. What's happening?
Right, and I just agreed with you that that's true. So why are you getting all emotional and talking over me?
I'm not.
Just shut up then for a second.
I'm really not.
You are, dude. You're projecting.
There's to say that there's a massive racist.
That's called projecting.
I think
that's called
within the people, mate. There's no racism.
Okay,
you don't have to project your guilt onto me, man. I'm just telling you what I know. So you don't have to get all guilty or I don't know why
you're
getting all.
We're joined by Gleam. We're joined by Gleam, guys. Let's just say hello to Jeremiah. Check on Gleam.
G'day, Gleam.
Hello, Chet.
Why are you rambling?
I want T-Mog to answer me. What do you think I feel guilty about, T-Mog?
Because you're rambling and making up stuff that I'm not saying. So I'm wondering why you're doing that.
No, what do I feel guilty about? You're accusing me of feeling guilty.
Well, I don't know. Why can't you shut up when I'm telling a story?
So what do you think I feel guilty?
Well, I got two questions. Why can't you shut up when I'm telling my story? And why are you extrapolating my story out to all people?
Why are you telling the stories? You're spinning the tale, or was you having a conversation?
Well, it's just making a simple point that these things are real. Does that mean everybody's evil? Of course not.
Real.
Right?
You made a blanket assumption, man. I said
no, I didn't. You're the one doing it. You're the one doing it. I'm wondering why you're doing it.
But you're saying that the system in America is racist when I don't believe that's a fact.
It is. It's in the system.
Well, have to
you think the system is inherently racist, T-Mog, in America?
It's not necessarily, like I said, just against one group, but definitely it's not the bouncer, for example, that was being quote racist. The owner of that building.
If someone's racist against everyone, it can't be racist.
Yeah, hang on.
The system's racist against everyone. It just hates everyone, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Now, this is what a baller does. Gets emotional and extrapolates it all out.
I'm not getting emotional at all, mate. If
you're saying stupid things.
You know about it.
Why is your brain running to stupid comments then? Why does your brain run?
I don't understand why you're the one getting emotional and angry, and I'm just asking a question.
Well, I'm making a simple point, and then you're just rambling about.
I don't see racism in any of the systems because people within the systems, within positions of power, are.
Do you agree there's a system in place? Let's see. Do you agree that there's an actual system?
The people who work within the system aren't all one color, are they?
Agreed, dude. I'm agreeing with you, so I don't know why you're going crazy, dude. I'm certain
you're saying the system
I'm certain there are parts. I'm certain there are parts of America that are predominantly
racist, and I'm
dude,
saying
shut up for 1 second, dude. Shut up for like 10 seconds. There are probably parts of America. There are probably parts of America that have dark-skinned people that are racist against white people. I'm certain that that's.
Of course they are.
Right. So. Now say something stupid just to end this. Now say something dumb.
The system can't be racist, man, because the system is not a thing. Racism is an emotional reaction that can only happen inside of a person's head. So to say that a
flat earther say something that stupid.
Let me.
How?
No,
there's no system. It's just a
he's
thing,
got a good
really.
point, Timo.
No, it's a retarded point.
Well, then
you don't have to get nasty and you know.
Why is it retarded?
How does a flat earther say there's no?
Just have a conversation.
Because I'll explain why there's. I'm saying the system cannot be racist. I didn't say there was no system. I'm saying racism is an emotional reaction. The system cannot have emotional reactions. Only people can have emotional reactions. That's a straw man. It's not a straw man.
Racism is financial.
Now you sound like a baller. Straw man.
Well, no, that's a straw man.
All you want, bro. I don't care. I don't do these little whine.
You said racism is emotional. Well, you said racism is emotional, but racism is financial.
Show me a police precinct being racist. Show me
systemic racism is financial.
Show me the building being racist. Show me a cop car being racist. Show me the state park being racist. You can't. You can only show me.
I just gave you an example of. I just gave you an example. I just gave you an example. I just gave you an example of being denied from a building. So that building and the owner of it would be racist.
Who's a person?
Not the building denying them.
It's the owner of it. Sure, the owner of it.
Deny you.
Well, that's what he's saying.
That's my point. That's my point, T-Mog. You just made my point. Thank you for being stupid. So the only person.
What was your point?
Listen. The point, because you're not listening. You're emotionally invested in this damn fucking racism shit because you're brown and you can play this card.
Exactly.
The only. Hold on, listen. The only reason that you believe there's racism is because some white dude at the door told you to get your brown ass out of here. Now you had an emotional reaction to that and was like, fuck white people, instead of saying, fuck that guy.
Exactly.
No, that's not what I said.
Exactly.
I use that as one example.
Okay, so here's the
right.
No personal responsibility.
Here's the part. Here's the issue. You got to go one level.
You sound like a Glover team.
You have to go one level above that. That bouncer is not in charge of the whole club. He was told.
He's in charge of the door, though.
By a guy. He was told by a guy, not by the system.
By the owner of that building.
The owner is not the person.
Yeah, and that owner likely has influence over other things. I can't prove that, but likely.
Could be black himself.
You control the door. The owner doesn't come down. The owner comes down every 5 fucking hours after he's had a few bevies. The owner doesn't come down and check the door. That's why they have bouncers, mate. The door is the responsibility of the bouncers. The owner doesn't come around.
No, it's not. That's stupid. Retract that retarded
I know people have security.
Don't say stupid things.
I've worked at door
and he's East Indian as well. Actually, he's West Indian.
Rude. Retract that stupid statement that the bouncer is in charge of.
I was a bouncer at a bar.
That's
you had carte blanche at the door. I told some lady offered me $100 to go in. I told her, go fuck her. You can turn away anybody as the doorman. The boss has no idea what's going on. When you're at the door,
really?
I was famous.
I was there. I worked the door.
We got to agree.
You need to live a bit of life.
We got to agree to disagree.
Live life a little
bit. That's fine.
You got to agree that
you are allowed to disagree. Sure, that's fine.
We'll agree. Only experienced racist people. You've never experienced a racist system. You got to admit that.
No, I know there's a system.
Okay, well then show me racism without a person. Show me racism without a person. Show me the racist system. Don't show me a racist
No,
person.
it's implemented by people, of course.
No,
It's just like the
then
baller.
And it's
you don't. How do you implement racism?
then it's their
What? By
responsibility.
giving black people
Put it on them,
by
not the
giving black
system.
people loans? Bro, do you know it's racist it's racist against white people? Do you know if you look at hold on, let me finish. As
Yeah,
an
I agree
Asian,
to that.
Wait, as an Asian, if you place at 100 on your test, you will get passed by some black person that got a 90. So that's racism the other way. So
Agreed.
all you're doing, and that's not systematic. That's policy that was written by a person. Okay, so the system is dictated by people. People write the policy, not the
That's
system.
semantic.
So
That's semantic.
no, it's not
That doesn't
semantic. It's facts. If you want to stop racism, you can't stop the system because the system's not the source of the racism. It's the people.
Yeah, that's the same as Ball Earth. It's like the Ball Earth has a network of shills who push the Ball Earth, and so it's carried in the minds of those Ball Earth shills. So
Exactly.
yeah, Ball Earth
Okay.
is in the
Perpetuate
mind.
it.
Okay,
Yeah,
You
right.
make it real.
Okay,
You make
listen.
racism real when you talk about how real it is. Just like they make the ball
Exactly.
real when
So-
they
But
talk
it's
about how
definitely a
real the ball
system.
is.
So who whips
Ball
there
the
Earth
is no
shills are
system.
definitely part of a
You
system.
create the system when you talk about it.
right, guys?
So
No,
you never talk
that's
about
insane.
racism.
Who-
Okay,
Man,
bro.
use
Who whips
use
these?
the same
who,
analogy
right, okay.
to Ball Earth.
Listen to me, guys. Listen. Who is it then that's responsible for whipping up these the frenzies that we're seeing at the moment? I mean, because that's what's happening. We're seeing riots. We're seeing whites with blacks. Funnily enough,
Yeah.
rioting together. You know, but it's these riots that are the problem. It's the riots, and who's orchestrating that? You know,
Well,
it
if you
isn't.
look into who funds these
Tommy Robinson.
organisations, look into who funds Black Lives Matters and who funds Antifa. You know, look into, I think it's the
George Soros.
Sunshine Group or something, the Sunshine something or other. Look into them. Like, you follow the money and you will find the, 1% of the 1% who are funding this to create the division. There is no division. They need to create it.
Yeah, they
So
create
they
the illusion
tell
of it.
And that whites hate blacks and that white police officers hate black people and they're going to kill you. You know, you better, as soon as you see a white cop, you better stick your hands up in the air because he's going to shoot you if you don't. You know, they put this into your head, then you believe it. You go out and perpetuate it, make it worse.
Yep, bingo, man. Bingo. It's just like the system cannot exist on its own. Like, there would be no ball Earth if there weren't people going around talking that the Earth is a ball, because it's
That's
not
insane.
a ball.
That's insane.
The only way you
Why would you make such a crazy statement?
Because I'm gonna
Every
explain it.
every school teaches Ball Earth, and you don't think there's a system. That's ridiculous, man.
That's
No,
people.
there is a system.
What are you talking about, man?
I said the system
All
isn't
we know is the
racist.
system. Your religion comes from the system, mate.
That's
Your
crazy
religion
that you're
comes
saying
from
that.
the system.
I
I find it
religion,
funny.
what you believe in.
I never
That
said there
religion,
wasn't
what
a
you
system.
believe in and talk to everyone about,
Timon,
was
Timon,
written by,
you're lying.
was written in the old days, mate.
It's a
and
Ball
part of
Earth
the
system enacted by Ball Earth.
You wouldn't even know
So,
who
yeah.
God was, yeah. You
But
bash
it's
on
not
about
racist.
God. I'll be honest with you, mind of God now, because you fucking upset me, mate. You bash on about God and all this bullshit, yeah. But at the end of the day, you only know about God because you read it in a fucking book that was written by a
Correct.
guy. So don't go
Correct.
thinking that you've got some sort of vast intelligence, mate.
Nah, I
You've just been
disagree.
brainwashed.
I never
You've
said
just
that,
been
dude. Relax.
brainwashed
Now
by
you're
an-
extrapolating like a madman. I don't know what you're talking about.
Fuck
I think you could come to the
extrapolating,
creator
moron.
without a book. I would have came to the creator without the Bible. So that's
Yeah,
bullshit.
same. I did. Like,
Me too. I came to the creator before I went to the Bible. So rude.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
the Bible helps with a lot of details. There's truth to what you're saying. Yes, you
The
can
Bible
come
helps
to the
you
knowledge
pick which
of God.
creator. It
But
helps you pick
I
which creator.
understand
Well,
why
for
this
example,
is a little bit
how would you have
for
known?
T-Mog.
How would you have known the mark of the beast if it's not in the Bible and it tells you to not take
Exactly.
it? How would you have figured
It would have
that
just been a microchip. It wouldn't have been in the mark of the beast if it's not in
Listen,
the Bible.
how
So
do you know, yeah?
out? Right.
How do you know? You know, like when you see all these predictions in the films and The Simpsons, you see Donald Trump being the president in The Simpsons years before it happened. You see
Yes,
this, you see that.
correct.
You see the coronavirus in a book in the 50s. How do you
'Cause
know
they
that
know.
was just not?
It's a
Listen,
fucking
how do you
story.
know that isn't the
God is
script?
doing it.
Yeah, because
God
they
is
wrote
doing
the
it.
book and now they're playing it
And now
out.
they're playing it out. You're just
So I
reading
like
the writings
this.
of
This
a
is
man.
what it. This is
Someone
what it's
didn't come
really.
down from a cloud and
Yeah,
write it
this
in a
is
book
this is
for
the
you, my
real.
friend.
This is the real crux of the issue: is people who hate the Bible. So you guys should just say it.
Hey,
It doesn't
I'm
matter
proud
if
of
it's
it.
the Bible,
I
the
hate the
scriptures, the
Bible.
scrolls,
I love
the
the
whatever
Bible.
the army.
The Bible
At the
is
end of the
full
day,
of
it's just wrote by some guy.
beautiful things that you should live your life by. Beautiful.
Do you
ways
believe it's
of-
the highest
beautiful
level of
ways
authority?
being.
Do you believe
Mate,
it's the highest
I believe
level
I'm
of
the
authority?
highest level of authority in my life, and when I die, I'll see what happens, mate. But I ain't
Well,
gonna
some
live
of
my
us think
life
it's the
according
highest
to
level
some
of
book.
authority. We can agree to disagree.
Well, you go living your life like you some sort
I
of
will.
subject.
I will. I'm sorry. I
Fine.
will. So we can agree to disagree. You got all emotional for some reason when we read
You
the book
got
and honor it.
emotional, Timo.
You're
No, why
assuming
do you,
racism, mate, and you
this
throw
is the real
nonsense out,
issue.
you fucking idiot.
This is the real
Somebody
issue is that
refused you in a club.
the
you
Bible-
You've
white
got to
shoes
believe
on,
that
mate.
Jesus
You need
is
to get
black,
better
don't
shoes.
you?
Get a
It's
better
And
not a
that
shoes.
belief,
makes
it's
you
in the
Get in
emotional.
the club next
It's
time.
obvious.
Simple as that. It's nothing about you. It's about
But
your
you've
shit.
never
shit.
The
seen
Bible
it.
explains.
Because somebody
The
wrote
Bible
that.
explains. The Bible explains why these things are happening in America as well. All this brutality or what staged events. They're not even real. This George Floyd thing is a hoax. God is doing
Yes.
it. God is doing it, and God implants
Is
racist minds into people's heads.
Does God kill babies and that?
Yes, he
God
does.
let kids get raped?
Yes, he does. According to the
He's a
Bible, he
fucked
does.
up God then, mate. And so
He
I
does.
won't be.
No, I mean that's what the Bible
worshipping
says.
anyone.
So
I won't be
well, I
worshipping
don't.
anyone.
We
mate,
don't.
that
We
makes
don't
that
care.
shit happen.
If you don't want to worship him, I don't care.
No, well, that's up
Respect
to
me.
you then, innit? Because you're a muppet, mate. You do.
Well, the Bible says that God
eat the
makes
body
alive
of Christ
and he
and
kills.
drink his blood. You're a cannibal, mate. You're a
Well,
Satanist.
I
all your
don't practice
bullshit
that.
books, mate,
Now
all
you're
come
just
from the same
making
place.
stuff up.
They all come
Now
from
you're
the
just
same
making stuff up.
bullshit. They all
It's
come
really
from the
good to
same
know
old
what's
pagan
really
bullshit.
right.
And
It's
that's
good to
all
know
it
what's
is, mate.
really going on. Is it's an actual attack against the Bible, so it's nice to actually see
It's
what
not
the
attack
real
against no
story
Bible,
is.
mate. You're an idiot. You're not defending the
Who is
Bible, mate.
attacking
You're
the
not.
Bible?
You're defending a book, you clown.
Brutus.
You're
I'm just
defending
reading.
a book. It's like defending a
Is that
Superman
Moose throwing up
DVD.
water?
Why do you
may
have
as
an
defend
issue with
a
people?
Superman
Why do you have
DVD.
an issue
You may
with people who
as
use
well
the Bible?
defend your living room curtains, mate.
Why do you have an issue with people who claim the Bible is the highest level of authority in their life? What's wrong with
Because
that?
it's bullshit.
Well, sure,
And you bash
that's your
onto it
position.
about everyone else like they should believe it, and like
You
they're
should
all
jump
the
on.
bad
You should
ones
jump
and they're
on
all
Good
going
Servant's
to hell.
channel. You
You're
should
an
jump
idiot,
on Good
mate.
Servant's channel.
You know
He'll
what,
love
I'm
to
gonna
have
laugh,
you.
mate.
Hey,
Go on
Shrek,
Good
there's
Servant's
no
channel.
need
When
for
you
that.
joss it, when you
You should
joss
jump
it
on
one
Good
day,
Servant's
mate.
channel. He'll
Hey,
have you
there's
for hours.
absolutely no
Listen,
need
one day
to
when you
bring
joss it
Stephen
and you
into
get
this.
and you get there, yeah, and there's nothing there, nothing of that bullshit book, mate, and you think, why the
Yeah,
fuck did I
talk
live my
talk
life
to
like
talk
a
to Good
jockey,
Servant
mate?
and Tom. They'll have you on
I don't
every
care,
week.
Listen, I'm talking
Jeez,
to you.
T-Mog, you really do like to stir the shit, don't you?
Well, I'm just
Like,
saying, like
You've got a weird attitude.
you're like this
It's all right,
nasty
mate.
little kid in the corner poking everyone with a stick trying to get a reaction. Grow
no,
up, man.
I made a statement that if you go with those views on his channel, your videos won't get removed and censored. So go there. No, it's not a good
Everyone's
place.
allowed
I
their
don't
own
listen,
opinion.
mate. I don't care for anyone. I'll say what I like. I live my life. I don't live
Good.
by books.
I'm just giving you another platform where you can share these ideas.
Mate, and notions and fucking ideologies, mate, and virtue signalling and fucking victimhood. I don't live my life by that.
Stephen and Tom are beautiful people. That's all that matters.
You get what you
They're
hear.
good
You get what you
men.
get with
They're
me, mate.
kind. They're loving. That's what matters.
Go around,
You know,
I mean,
virtue signaling about bullshit.
That's subjective.
Situations about shoes, mate. I've been turned down from clubs.
They've never,
I've
they're
been
not
turned down from
criminals.
clubs because of my shirt or my jeans. You're an idiot, mate.
This is why you don't let
I was
emotion.
raised. I've been turned down from clubs by black bouncers, mate. Black bouncers turned me away from a club.
I didn't deny that. I think there's racism. I think there's racism against white people. I agree with that. I totally agree with
that. Maybe you didn't like
that.
my fucking shoes, mate. Who cares? You know what I did? I jogged on to the next club, mate, and I went in there and had a good night. Forgot about it.
You need to blame the people doing it, not the system, because this is
No,
how
but there is a system. There is a system.
This
in
is
place.
how
There is
they
a system, but it's not racist. The
This
system
is
is
how they
for black
turn away
people.
from having personal responsibility. They go, oh, it's not me, it's the system. No, it's you.
Yes,
There
the
is a system in place.
But the system is not racist towards black people because
Sure,
the
you can-
system
you can
gives.
say-
Hold on, let me speak.
Yeah,
Let me speak.
yeah.
The system gives black people benefits such as housing reduction, free loans based on school loans. These are all. This is what the system provides. Okay. Now you're saying all of these privileges that the system provides to minorities makes it racist against them because you interact with racist people.
I
That's
never
a problem.
said that. Where did you get that?
That's
statement
exactly what
from,
you're
man?
saying. You're saying.
No, I didn't. You're
Okay, so
making that up. That's
What
a
are
straw
you
man.
saying then? Because
Okay,
that's
let
what
me.
it seems
let me-
like.
Well, I made a simple statement about how me and a few other people were
No, you said the
not
system
allowed
was
in a.
racist. You said
No, I
the system is racist. Yes, you did. You did say the system was racist.
Yes, I
So
say
the
there.
system isn't racist.
Well, no, sorry. Yes, I will.
So
say
then
that
it
the
is.
system,
Okay, well,
yeah.
there you go. That's why I said it. So I'm
Right.
saying that you think the system is racist when the system is actually, hold on, you're interrupting.
Yeah.
Hold on, when the system actually writes laws in favor of black people, and you're saying that those laws are actually, we should disregard those because you got kicked out of a club once by a white guy. And I'm going to say, no, there is a system, and it benefits black people.
Right. So it's racism can exist against. So let's use an example.
Yeah. So
for
if
example,
you call me a white bastard, there's nothing I.
Okay, well, whilst they're debating that for just a second, I'm going to take a little time out just to thank some of the people for the super chats they've given. Darwin for $5 says, there are no cats in America. Thank you very much for the super chat. Aaron Armstrong says, people are the system. They are the system. Couldn't agree more. We are the system. We are part of the system for sure. Darwin, another $10 says, Ranty, I don't feel safe in this chat with you not having a wrench, just saying. Well, the wrenches will be back, but unfortunately I can't bring the wrenches back just yet. The wrenches need to stay away for just a few more months, and then the wrenches will be back. Simple as that. Okay, thank you all for the super chats. Now back to the discussions. Here we go.
Let's all kick off on the Chinese.
Does this guy ever shut up, dude? What is wrong with this guy, dude?
Let's all go and kick off on the Chinese where they have an extra
What is wrong with this guy, dude?
Kid in the drain. Let's go.
His name is Rude Earther.
Yeah, but why doesn't he shut up, dude?
Let's go kick off in
Because he's
Muslim
rude.
countries where they force marry 11-year-olds and 10-year-olds.
He warned
Let's
you.
Let's go and do that. Shall we? You idiots.
Yeah, there would be no racism if the people didn't go and perpetuate it. The system
only be the other way.
perpetuated by itself.
That's true. But Paige, you're right. I agree with that. No one would argue with that. That's correct. Of course.
Cool.
For example, just use that example with that bouncer. If no bouncer would ever exercise the rules that were told to him, then yeah, it would never exist. Agreed. It would get solved quickly. That's true. So that we agree with for sure. So it's the same with the ball earth. Yeah, if no one really pushed it, then the schools would all close down. They would be new schools, flat earth, whatever. Then yeah, it would just die in like a couple. If parents, for example, didn't send their kids to public education, yeah, ball earth would die very quickly. That's true.
Yeah, well, nobody
one's arguing
thought it was a ball before they started all that crap, did they? Everyone always
to say that there's no system in place pushing ball earth, for example, and racism, that's ridiculous.
But the system, it's not racist against black people. Because
I agree. I agree. It depends on geography. It could be racist against Asians.
No. That's Indians. The person. When you look at, hold on, the system is not the people. The system is the laws, right? Because people can be, it could be, a person is different from place to place, but the laws that are written down. So if you have laws that allow black people rights and privileges, like point scores into getting into colleges, that then yes, you could say it's racist, but then you have to say it's racist against white people because it's giving minorities benefits that the system is, right? Not people. This is not an individual. Sure. The system gives. Sure. So the system is racist against white people. Yeah. Thank you.
Not entirely. That could be one aspect of it. That's one small corner of the law.
Those laws
yeah,
but
that aspect of it would be, yes, correct.
But the laws don't apply to that bouncer. He's not enforcing a federal law. So he's racist against black people, but the laws of the system are racist against white people.
He's enforcing what his boss, who owns that building, is telling him to.
Yeah, but that's a personal thing. That's not the system. So the system is the law.
Let's say enough people have that type of power. Do you agree we have a racist system?
No, unless
we have to agree to disagree. Then
wait, let me explain why. Unless the system starts writing laws which actually do something about it, you can have a whole bunch of people that hate blacks, but if they still hire them, pay them the same, but just go home and go, fuck it, blacks, I can't believe I got to pay them the same. You know,
we're not.
But that's the thing. But we are, because if the system doesn't implement the racism in any way, if it just hates black people but doesn't write any laws,
I just gave you an example of how it was implemented.
That was on a personal level. You gave me a personal level, and I gave you how the system is actually implemented against white people. So you gave me a personal situation. Hold on. So now we get to your point when you say there's a system that's racist against black people. I'm saying no, it's racist, but it's actually against white people.
Straw man. I never.
No, that's what you said. You did. Okay, so
I didn't say it was racist against one group. I said the system, for example, locally or in Houston, for example, in the club scene, then in that case it would have been racist towards not just black people but dark-skinned people. Right.
But that's not the system. That's the individual owning a bar. The system with the laws that are written on the books against white people getting to college.
Right. So that agreed. If it was only that one club or one place, then it wouldn't be a system. I agree with that. Yes. But if it's a network,
but it's not a network. If you have 50 individuals that own 50 clubs and those 50 people happen to be racist, that's not the system because they're not writing laws. Now the laws come from
you can define it as a law, but that doesn't make sense. Is Ball Earth in the law? But is there a system of Ball Earthers? Of course, there's a system. It's not in law, but
it is.
Your argument doesn't make sense.
Law.
Dude.
NASA is law.
You're out of your mind, right? The hand. You lost. Dude. Team Log won.
Okay, man.
How can you believe what you just said when you're a flat earther?
I'm going to explain why. Because what you're trying to do is say there's this entity, this unseen racist entity, right? And it is.
It's God.
Okay, and so God's a racist now.
Yeah, God puts racist people on earth to punish others.
No. God gives people.
How do you know Earth's not a jail?
It doesn't make God a
It's just a
racist.
jail, mate. And it doesn't matter what we do here.
And then people use that free will to be racist.
No, God in Deuteronomy 28, for example, the Negroes in America are being cursed, so that's why that's happening. All these fake things. And slavery.
You can connect that. That's
Bible prophecy. It's not thinking. It's in the Bible.
It's not a racist. But the Bible has nothing to do with race. It's got to do with people.
Who the hell says
that? The origin of the racism here in America.
Fucking word.
It gives you the origin of racism here. Yeah,
it's not race. It's devil against God. It's not white against black.
No, as a Bible reader, you should know that. They're cursed. So I'm not saying you guys are racist, but people here have that mindset because God put that in their mind to push the so-called Negroes down. That's Bible prophecy.
And God doesn't put any. Okay, well, if you think God puts things in people's mind, then you don't think we have free will.
We don't. You in my channel, I always teach that.
So then you're a robot.
We have a local level of free will. We do not have.
What does that mean? What is the local level?
It means that I can choose like what color a shirt I wear, but I can't, for example.
But you can't choose to be a good person.
I can't go to like the edge of the earth and touch the ice wall, for example.
No, but that's locomotion. You don't have free will over your locomotion. You can't start walking.
I said local. Yeah, I said no. On a local level, I have free will.
Well, you're saying go to the ice wall. Wouldn't going to the ice wall just be moving? You can't move. What the fuck are you talking about?
I guess there's a treaty. I guess I don't know. Like I can't.
Have you moved and encountered it? Have you actually started walking and swimming? So where is this free will that you? So you're trying to separate localized free? No, there's free will. So you either have autonomous control over your thoughts and body, or you don't. So which one is it?
So, for example, when this mask thing comes out and it's forced, do you have free will? Let's say that you have to wear one or else you go to jail. Do you have free will? Can you just say that to a police officer and tell them free will? You think they're going to listen to you?
Yes.
Then you can go to jail.
You can end
right, you're going to go to jail. Exactly.
But that's a
still free will.
Are you free to then leave that jail? Do you have free will to leave that jail? Hold on.
That's got
am I free to fly?
God.
Am I free to? That's not free will. Just because I want to fly doesn't mean I don't have the free will. You have free will as in whatever choice you are capable of having. I just did a video on this. 2 is 1, 1 is none. If you have 2 choices, right? You could pick an apple and an orange. You have 2 choices, okay? If you have 1 choice, put on the mask, you have 0 choices. But it's never that because they could say put on the mask and you can always say no. And that's why you will always have free will because you will always have a choice. Because they can say put on the mask.
Sure.
That's a choice. Yeah. And if you believe in God, then it shouldn't be that bad of a fucking
that's
choice.
Still free
you should
will.
die. He should be like, bro, you did exactly what I fucking wanted. He should be fucking proud as hell.
Well, no, in that case, then I agree with you. Yeah, in that case, I agree with you. If you have 2 options and the other option is always to die, then yeah, I guess in that.
But that's free will. The choice.
No, if that's your form of free will, that's evil.
If God puts murderers on you to punish people, why is murdering people wrong?
Oh, I'm free. I can do this or die. Okay, great. That's
free will. When I say free will, I mean you have autonomous
control.
You
might not like the choices.
Remember, you're not dying. You're not dying. That person is using his free will to kill you. Right? So you have to understand how free will works if you want to understand how God gave it to us. So when you come face to face, and you will, and if you believe in God, you're going to come face to face with, you're going to choose death or you're going to choose the system and bow down. Okay, now I will choose death. I fucking know it. Now I'm wondering now, I used to think you were a deather. Now I'm going, man, I don't know. Maybe this guy, he doesn't think he's got free will. Maybe he has to put it on.
What makes you think that I'm You guys are the one here shilling for the system that it doesn't exist or something like that.
I never said the system doesn't exist. I said it's not racist towards black people.
You're making up shit now, Tim. None of us ever said the system doesn't exist.
Right, and so
Why
I'm
do you-
telling
why
you
do you
here,
say
for
this?
example, in America, it is a racist system. That's a fact.
I'm here in America, bro. It's not racist.
And
All
we're
right, well,
trying
then
to
we can
tell
agree
you
to
that
disagree.
a system can't be racist.
And I'm telling
It's
you
more
actually
important-
one step
Doesn't have
deeper
emotions.
that, and I'm telling you one
Soul
step
comes
deeper.
to free
God
will,
is the
man.
author of it. God made
It's
the
like
system.
them
this way.
saying science says. Science doesn't say.
Paige, you're getting
It's
terrible
like the
feedback.
body.
Paige, we got terrible
am I?
Paige, we got
Yeah,
terrible
the
feedback with your
system's
mic.
racist, and
All right,
God
I'll
made it.
drop and join again.
Okay.
No, there's absolutely no way I can't choose the system because the system has rejected me a long time ago. So it's just
The
this
system
is
is the
late stages
devil.
of it.
Is that better?
Yes. Yeah, that's better, Paige.
You have to understand
Oh,
that
no,
the
I
system
haven't
is the
done it
devil
again.
because the system. Remember, the system will always try to remove your choice. Right? Put on a
C-Mog,
mask.
have you got a
You
mortgage?
don't get a choice.
C-Mog, have you got a
This-
mortgage?
No,
C-Mog,
He
have you got a
said-
mortgage?
no, I don't. No,
Have you got any loans?
no.
Do you pay rent?
Yes,
Do you pay tax?
yes.
Right, the fucking system's got you then, mate. Shut up.
I agree. No, I don't disagree with that. Got me for a while. I don't understand what the point was.
Look, my point is,
Because you
regardless
said
of
the
whether
system hasn't got you, mate. The system's got everyone. The system has got everybody, mate.
the
The
system
system's got
can't
you
have
because you're
you.
reading the
That's
system's
true.
book and you're living by the system's book's rules, mate, and thinking that there's some higher power telling you to do so. So the system's got you well and truly hooked, mate. It's got its hooks well and truly in your grey matter, my friend.
No, the Bible's telling us why that
No, the
there are all
Bible's
these
not
divisions.
telling you anything, mate. The
Yeah,
Bible's
it
up
is.
for interpretation because
Well,
every
it's telling
story in the
me then.
Bible has got multiple meanings, mate.
Sure,
And that's
fair
why
enough.
everybody's translation of the Bible is different. It's up to the individual's interpretation, mate, at the end of the
Yeah,
day. So
that-
the Bible can mean anything and it can mean nothing. You to
Sure.
live your life by it is in your own mind.
And this is
You're
why.
interpreting
Sure,
what
that's
the
fine.
Bible means to you.
That's fine.
and
Some of
living
us
by
put it
in
at the
your own
top.
mind.
Some of us put
But
it
it's
at the
just a
top.
book written by a man.
No,
What
it
Bible
wasn't.
do you read?
It's not a book. There's a collection of books written by
Which Bible
many
do you read? The Old
people.
Testament, the New Testament. Which Bible do you read? Who's it written by?
Many people.
KJV, whatever it is.
Right. So why
Yeah,
are you getting all
right. So it was
why do you-
written
why
by
do you-
King James scholars.
Why
then,
do you have
wasn't
such a
it?
problem
Under
with
the
people
guise
who
of King
exalt the Bible?
James, under the
Mason.
guise of King James, and to his advantage to be given out to the people to help in his control over the people. So you're just reading a book of an old king from hundreds of years ago, still doing his bidding, you clown. And then
Yeah,
coming
there's
on
no
here,
doubt. There's
virtue
no doubt it's
signaling,
been
mate,
used.
like you fucking got some
There's
sort
no
of
doubt it's
infinite,
been used for
infinite
control. There's no doubt it's been used for control.
You're not.
but
You've
we
been
know.
brain up, mate. You've been brain
No,
up.
there's no
Give it
doubt
up.
it's been used for control, but now it's actually being used to
Give it
reveal
up.
the system.
2020, time for everyone to wake up now. Put the books down from the old
No,
days.
it's explaining
The old
why
men
right
saying
now
shit,
you're
they've
getting
all
so
got the same
triggered.
meanings. The
It explains
Satanic
why
Bible,
you're getting so
the
triggered
Baphomet
about Bible being
the
authoritative. It
Muslim
explains
books,
that.
mate. The fucking Egyptian, the Egyptian mythologies, mate. They all tie in. The old pagan shit, all the stars, mate. The fucking everything all ties in with these books because it's all just observations over years to
Sure, that's fine.
humanized,
That's your
mate,
opinion.
and generalized at the end of the day.
Well, then you don't
And
have to
yous are
worry
all
about
leading
anything that it
along,
says
mate,
coming
like you've got
true.
some secret to life. And
Well,
like when
you don't have to
you're gonna
worry
go
about
into
anything
some
that it
better
says
place
coming
because of this
true.
book. You may as well go and blow yourself up, mate, on the premise that you're going to get 12 virgins. You
That's
may
not
as
what it
well.
says, man. No, that's not what it
That's
says. So
why.
that's
That's why you have to come to
It
what
says
is
if you
this all
die in
about?
battle
It was
with infidels,
72,
mate,
wasn't
you
it?
go to virgins. That's it. I know. I can look it up now on Google for you.
where does it say that? Go for it.
Right,
Look
I'll
it
look
up.
it up. Next time, come on.
I thought it
It's
was
late,
72.
actually.
I'm sure they
No,
put
No,
it
look
on
it up.
72.
Look it up
Rude,
now.
what do you think the point of life is then? Rude, if you don't, what's the point of life for you? Just
I
be a
discovered
good
it, yeah.
person.
The point of life
Oh, you?
is to,
How old are you?
is to just
To
propagate
trash the
yourself.
Bible.
You don't even know what you're here for yet, bro. You don't
The
have a
proper
purpose
life.
yet.
Well, there's no point. Is you just propagate yourself in a good manner. That's it. You have a family, mate,
What does
or
that?
whatever.
Where do you
or
get
don't,
good?
and you
What does
live-
that mean?
You live
What's good?
according to what's good to you, mate. Like
Okay,
I said last time, like I said one time when I was on here, these villages are cannibals, mate, in the fucking jungle
so they're
somewhere.
good?
They go out and they kill each other and eat each other. They all believe that's good. They believe
it good,
that's
though?
good. We
Is it
don't.
good?
In their opinion,
But
it
is
is.
it good?
In their
No,
opinion,
but is
it
it good?
Not in
Unbiasedly,
my
is it
opinion,
good?
no. Not in my
No,
opinion.
I'm not talking your opinion. So do you believe that there's like a set of laws, not so much laws, but like under no, like me,
No,
I believe those.
set
Hold
of
on,
laws
hold on.
in your heart,
Let me
aren't
finish.
they? It's
Let
what
me
you
finish.
live by.
Well, let me try and make my point. So I believe I get my authoritative view from the Bible, like the 10 Commandments, like thou shalt not kill, don't look at your wife. I look to Jesus when he says, don't look at a woman with lust, blah, blah, blah. So that's where I'm saying. Now, what you're saying is that in your worldview, you just decide what's right and wrong, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I go with my gut feeling and my heart. So when I look at a child, yeah, and I see the innocence in a child, I think to myself, I go into protective mode, or that is just a general feeling you get inside. You don't have to read a book, mate.
Okay, well, let me ask you something.
I don't want to go around hurting people, mate. I don't get the feeling
Okay,
inside
but
to go around.
what if there is somebody that does?
I'm pretty sure, mate, them cannibals in the jungle don't just want to go around hurting people. They're doing it because that's what they eat, mate, and they believe that's right. Do you know what I mean?
If
you believe the Bible's right, I don't.
I'm just
That's
what I'm asking you.
I don't.
Let's say me and you were talking. There was a pedophile here, right? And I'm showing him like, hold on, let me finish, bro. Rude.
Just because it's in my heart.
I know. Calm down. So, and see how you have violence in your heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Eye for an eye, mate.
Yeah, that's not good. No, eye for an eye leaves the world blind.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does, bro. Yeah, it does, man.
Because at the end of the day,
why do you think Jesus said turn the other cheek?
At the end of the day, there'll always be someone left with one eye, and in the eye of the blind, the one-eyed man is king, my friend. Listen, there'll always be one man left.
Do you understand that you never stop talking?
So neither do you.
That's a problem too. I used to, but then I found out that it's a problem because it means you don't want to hear what anybody else has to say. No, yeah, because it means you don't want to hear what anybody else has to say.
Yeah, go on, say what you're saying.
No, interrupting is a problem, not talking.
So in your world, you can justify.
Told you, mate.
You can justify. I'm going to tell you. So in your worldview, right, you think it could be good to murder somebody. You just have to change the situation and why you're murdering them.
No, now you're putting bullshit in
my mouth. Yeah, that's what you're saying. You just said,
but if I'd have been born in that,
you said you were going to beat the shit out of
village. If I'd have been born in that village, mate, then I would just be a cannibal, wouldn't I? I wouldn't know any different, mate. But if I was to go there now as an outsider, I wouldn't go there now to kill someone and eat someone. Because then, in my mind, that would be somebody sick and twisted.
Mate, you're not listening. So I'm asking you, if an intruder came into your house, like, would you kill him?
If they were armed, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so now here's what I'm saying. In your worldview, you can murder somebody. You just need to create a scenario for which you
create that scenario.
You did. No,
it didn't.
Here's my point.
The burglar created the scenario by coming into my dwelling where my family is, mate.
Let me make my point.
If they were armed, I'd kill them instantly, mate, without hesitation.
Try and listen.
If they weren't armed, no, I'd just pin them down, mate, and get
You're being a rumpus.
So that's where you come into, humanity, don't you?
Yeah, I know, but shut the fuck up and listen. Stop being a rumpus.
No, because you're putting fucking shit in
your mouth. Then stop talking, though. But you're just babbling.
Stop talking nonsense.
But stop
because you're trying to say that I accept murder.
I'm just going to call you rumpus.
No, it's not
everybody
at all. That's
hear.
Bullshit, mate. At the end of the day, certain people accept murder under circumstances. Myself, I don't personally believe that. And my view on life, whether I want to hurt someone or not, or whatever, or whether I like someone or not, comes from a gut feeling. I don't have to read a book to tell me about it.
Okay.
I don't have to read a book to tell me to be good.
Lord Jesus.
See, was you not good before you read that Bible?
Can you let me, bro, you're just monologuing. You understand you're just monologuing right now?
No, because
let me respond.
Shit,
okay, but let me respond.
Look off.
But stop talking, Rude. What is your problem? I'll tell you what the problem is.
Talk, mate.
I'm going to explain. Now, you have this belief, right? Now, you believe. Now, look at
that's what I'm saying. Look at this explanation, like.
Rude, for God's sake. Please.
No, let him go.
Just stop.
I want to show the audience how bad you behave when you don't have God. Now, Rude cannot control himself. He doesn't have free will. He's told us he doesn't have. There he goes. There he goes. Like an animal. Like an animal can't control himself. So he doesn't have free will, which he's told us he doesn't have free will because he said if he saw a burglar in his house, the burglar made him. Look at him go. Look at him interrupting. Wow, I've never seen somebody that could just not keep his mouth shut. It's crazy.
He's acting a bit like Brenda at the moment.
I know. Well, because he's triggered. So he's saying that the burglar made him kill the burglar, which is removing his free will. He doesn't have to take responsibility for anything because he can put it all on the burglar. He didn't kill a human being. The burglar made him do it. And this is how the devil got Adam to go against God and get him to eat the apple. Because it's not that Adam made a mistake, it's the devil made him do it. So all Root is doing is he's letting the devil create the situation in which he can then justify his actions. So since he has no God or grounding,
personal responsibility.
He can do anything. He could probably justify raping a female intruder to teach her a lesson, because he doesn't have any grounds or basis for how to behave.
No, that's
it's all
bullshit.
instinctual.
Next time a burglar comes in your house, sit on the floor with your fingers crossed saying while you fucking kick your head in, mate, and take all your stuff, you idiot. You idiot.
You can stop someone without killing them, though.
Let's see if God stops the burglars from battering
Let's see if Root can control
stuff.
Of course he's not going to stop them. They have free will as well. They're using their free will.
Is the point. And this is why I chose Jesus and the God and the Bible, because I will never use my free will to kill somebody, because that goes against everything I fucking believe in. And if somebody put a gun to my head and said, kill me or I'll kill you, and I would put my hand on my shoulder and I'd be like, I can't kill you, brother. You're going to have to do it. I will not kill somebody. That's because you, hold on. This is because you will do anything. You'll invade a country. We got to kill all the Jews.
No, I won't do anything.
Don't you see how much better world would be, Rude, if everyone was that way?
You're making assumptions.
You're a killer.
You're a shitbag, mate. If someone came in my house where my kids are,
I'm saying you're a murderer. All I'm saying is that you are
not even messing about.
Conscious, tie them up.
Hey, man.
Like, why do you have to kill them?
You would make an excuse for killing somebody. You will make an excuse for killing somebody.
You have to live with that.
You have to live with consequences. I will someone, mate. It'd have to be under a good circumstance.
I would never kill anybody. You couldn't create a.
It'd have to be under a very, very certain circumstance. If someone came in my house to harm me with a weapon where my family is,
so you're no better than them.
You're no
better than them. You're no better than them. You're an animal just like they are.
I'll just sit on the floor then and let them fucking rob me.
All I'm saying,
that's a false dichotomy, Rude. They're not the only two choices.
He's an animal. He's an animal. He can't. He has to. The devil knows it.
You either have to kill them or let them rob you. No, there are other choices.
Let them rob me, mate. What if they decide to rape one of my kids in the meanwhile?
Then knock the fuck out.
That's your choice.
Yeah, knock them out when you've already got you tied up on the floor, you idiot, mate. When you've already let them in your house, shut up, you idiot. Have you ever been robbed? Have you ever been robbed? Have you ever been in a robbing situation? Have you ever been in a situation where you're getting robbed, you fucking shitbag? Shut up, you idiot.
Yeah, bro, I
got battered by a woman.
In a headlock and the guy was going to kill me.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Great.
No, all I'm saying is if you will justify murder,
when he was trying to kill you, why did you get him in a headlock? Why didn't you just sit there? That's a false dichotomy, Paige. Why didn't you just sit there and get him? Why didn't you just sit there? Why did you get him in a headlock?
Even if I could have gotten out of the situation.
How do you know he was going to kill you?
Because he wasn't letting go. And I was just passed out.
Was he armed?
No, he was just huge.
How do you know his intention was to kill you?
This has nothing to do.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I started to see dots and my vision was going black, and if another lady hadn't seen him.
Listen, if you're fucking in the army, mate, and someone's shooting at you and you don't shoot back at them, you're a shit.
You chose to be in the army.
Don't ever go in the army, mate. Don't ever do anything where you have to defend yourself, you shit house. Why do you do that, MMA?
You're allowed to defend yourself.
At the end of the day, all you're doing,
you're a shitbag.
You're creating justification.
Don't put your shit on me.
Okay, stop talking. Let me speak. You're creating.
For my family, mate.
Look at how triggered this
baller is, mate, and I'll kill for him. That's my family.
Rude Arthur, you're losing an incredible. You're losing an incredible amount of respectability right now with your inability.
Shit about your respectability, mate. You're a
not mine. The audience. This is painful.
I don't care about the audience, mate.
Exactly. You don't care about anybody because you're selfish. That's why you'll murder.
I'm telling you now. You're a somebody. Don't put your shit on my man. Don't put your shit on my lips, you little shitbag.
Look how you won't shut up for 2 seconds to let me speak, bro. It's crazy. You just cannot stay quiet to let somebody else say their piece. This is why he ran, because he has no grounding in anything. He'll murder if the justification, he'll rape if the justification, he'll be selfish. He didn't care about the audience. He didn't care about the other panel members, and he admits it. He'll admit it right here. 150 people listening. I don't give a fuck about any of you. You're going to listen to me. What kind of shit attitude is that?
Well, here,
That's
write the hand.
you
Write the
have
hand.
when you
I'll give you this, dude. Even though we disagree on many things, your principled beliefs would not allow the world to get to this evil place. So that
Yeah,
I'll give you
exactly.
that.
Yeah, bravo.
that.
not kill
If
wouldn't.
everybody
All
had
that
the
one-
attitude that Chris has got, this place would be
Yeah, nowhere
beautiful.
near.
Absolutely
Nowhere near.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just don't kill for any reason. We'll be fine. Everything
Right.
else we can work out.
Right.
Just
Yeah,
don't
that
get violent with
handcuffs.
everything else.
That handcuffs all evil in the world because then there's no leverage, there's no stealing, there's no
Exactly. There's no.
it's
And you have to win on the argument. And this is the point. With murder, you don't need to win on the argument or the logic.
Right.
You can
Right.
just brute force your fucking idea. But when you can't be violent, you have to sit there and talk. You have to come up with a better way. And this is
See,
the
his
point of the
excuse will
Bible.
be that they're going to kill me if I don't do it
Yeah,
first.
well,
and that's exactly
that's
how.
what this guy thinks. Yeah, that's why he's robbing you, because he thinks he's got to get money or somebody's going to kill him. You know, it's just going down a long
it's a
line.
perpetual thing. You just keep making the cycle repeat itself. Whereas if everybody just stopped and went, no, there is no justification to kill anybody for any reason, then this world would be so different. If kids were taught that, abortion clinics wouldn't exist.
Right. Right.
You wouldn't have any death row in prison. And I understand that
we'd
there
be
are
in
people
heaven.
out there
We'd
who will
basically-
murder.
The problem is that probably 5% of the population at least is always going to be violent and unhinged in some
Correct.
way, shape, or form, and there's no way
Renty.
that you can if somebody comes to your home and you have an obligation to protect your family. And I know what you're saying, that nobody should ever kill anybody. But if that guy comes in and he's armed to the teeth, and he isn't stopping until he gets what he wants, right? You have a choice. You have a choice. You either take him on, or you let him do what he needs to do. And I think what Rudy's saying is
always take him on with the thought in your mind that you will take it to.
You can't take a Bible out and say, "Can we sit down and have a talk about this?"
No,
Just don't believe this world.
get a baseball bat, bash him over the head.
If this is not the finality, like, to me, this is the beginning. To me, we haven't even got into the club. We're online, and he's not going to let me in if I start killing and stealing and robbing. So he might send some bouncer out and go, "Yo, see that guy in the nice shirt? Rob him. See if he'll kill you." And so I get robbed, and he's like, "Did he try and kill you?" He's like, "Nah." He's like, "All right, passed. Okay, let him in." And bam, that's what you do. Because in heaven, he can't let anybody that kills in heaven, because heaven's perfect. So if you let somebody that will go, "But you looked at me funny, so therefore my feelings got hurt, so now I have to kill you." If you let anybody in that will heaven, that would justify murder in any capacity, it won't be heaven. And the only way to do that is to simulate a reality to see who will choose the right option when presented with all of them. And that's why Earth is so fucking realistic. This is why we get it so fucking attached, because it's the ultimate test of what will you do.
The problem is you run out of options when you run out of options completely. If a guy comes in with holding 2 knives in his hand and he's going for your children and he's going to kill them, you run out of options at that point. There's no options left but to defend your family. That's just the way it is.
It's one of these things where it's like, look, if first off, like, I'm never going to justify killing. And 2, we're talking about a situation that 99.9% of us will probably never be in. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
And I'm not. So I will never use that as like the standard of whether I'm going to kill somebody or not.
Yeah.
So if it's,
I'm saying
what I mean?
Like, to say that you would never ever stand up.
I think it's the ultimate test.
Well,
I would fight. Yeah, I would be like, I would grab him.
Okay, so
I wouldn't kill him.
Okay, so
I wouldn't kill him.
Okay, so if you were having a family gathering and there was 10 family members there, most of them were, your kids, and you got your parents there, and they're all vulnerable, and you got a guy coming in with a gun, and he's going to kill them.
Yeah,
he's going to kill them.
For him, because I'm not afraid to die.
You're not afraid to die.
Hey.
Yeah, you're not afraid to.
Yeah.
But what about the kids? What about the family?
Shoot his kneecaps.
Hopefully,
making him disabled.
Yeah, but
You
as
know,
soon as you go into a
again,
violent confrontation with him, it's going to result in somebody's death. It's as simple as that.
Yeah,
You
sure.
can't just say you're going to
And again,
kneecap him.
look, you know, and again, it all comes down to the decisions that you make, you know. So I'm going to try and, I'm not try, but I will do my best to stand by the decisions that I've made to never kill anybody. And if, you know, you get to that situation,
don't get me wrong.
Hey, man.
Listen, I'm not a violent person either. You know, I've had probably 10 or 12 fights in my entire life. You know, and all of them were, you know, incidents where other people instigated it. I was always I was always the one that I never went looking for the fight. Those fights came to me, and you know,
fighting happens.
That's how you. That's how you. Yeah, that's how you. That's how you. I believe you. You had an MMA fight, I believe, with a woman a few years ago.
So fighting is, you know, I'm all for fighting. You know, you got to fight, but the whole idea is like, look, if you know, once you get to the point where you're like, look, I'm willing to do what you're willing to do. I feel like it's like you lose your humanity in a little bit. You know, like this whole, you know, oh, we're killing the terrorists because they'd kill us, and I'm like, well, then you're no better than they are. You know,
yeah, all that stuff. Yeah, I get agreed with that. Yeah,
so
I mean,
that's my angle.
Yeah, wars and stuff, absolutely, and all this sort of like clan mentality, and we can go big. We can go from being a clan to being factions, from factions to being countries. You know, so you know all of that. You know, absolutely, yeah. I mean, all this hatred for one faction against another faction is just ridiculous. You know, the most people in the world, I believe. Probably 95% of people would never, if they just left alone to their own devices, most people would never think of doing anything bad to anybody else. They just want to have a nice time and just be nice to people.
If you looked at how many cops and military there was, and then compared that to how many violent people there were, and everybody saw how fucking ridiculously small the amount of violent people there are and how much money they're spending on like preventing it, you'd be like, it almost seems like they're trying to perpetuate how violent people are, you know, when they're really not. You know what I mean? And and I think that's a big part of this whole George Floyd shit is to be like, you know, that anarchy means violence. So you need the government's laws because anarchy is God's laws, in my opinion. Right?
Well, everybody has inside of them somewhere. Everybody has that ability to turn at any point. You know, they have that ability.
The dark side.
Yeah, to let the dark side.
Is real.
Yeah, the red. You know, when you see the red mist or whatever, everybody has that inside of them to do that. It's a case of if you say the right things to people at the right time, and you've got other people agreeing with you at the same time, your friends and your family, and you stir things up, then the red mist is going to happen more for you people, and it's easy to control people when they do that. You know. You
inherently know that red mist feeling is wrong, don't you?
I've only ever seen the red mist when I've been fighting. To be fair, you know, when I've actually been in a fight, I've seen the red mist, and that's the only times that I've ever seen it. You know, besides
that, there is definitely
feeling. There'll be a time
for killing. You know what I mean? Like I think there's always a time for everything. The whole thing is
Oh, we're losing you, Chris.
Oh shit.
Yeah, bad.
Take over. I walked away from my phone. I'm on Bluetooth. I forgot.
I can hear like a budgerigar or something tweeting.
I got little baby birds.
Oh, how cute.
A little
cat looking at me. Going, oh, they sound tasty.
Mandagod says this was the realest hangout. Indeed, it was. Listen, is Gleam still here? Is Gleam still here?
Yeah.
Hey, Gleam.
This was fucking real as fuck, bro.
Yeah, sorry for bringing up this subject. Got off on a tangent, didn't we?
Yeah, you said.
It's good.
Oh, I wanna change the subject a little bit, and the next thing, boom, we've had an hour of whatever. Yeah, it's just been holy shit. Right, listen, let me shout a couple of super chats out first. Robkin says, "Hey, Ranty." Hey to you, Robkin, as well. And Aaron Armstrong says, "I've never heard so many Christians swear so much." Yes.
Oh, sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
To me, I don't. Is swearing really like fuck, or we're gonna like?
Yeah,
And this
that's
is where
like
it
the
comes
worst
free
thing you
will.
can come up with is a couple of swear words. Wow.
Like I'm not gonna, I won't say it on Ranty's channel just to say it, but it's like the N word. If people didn't react and get all worked up, it wouldn't be that big a deal.
That's
People
true.
make
That's
it,
true.
they make it the deal that it is. So, and this is,
Yep.
if you read 1984, one of the main themes is that they start restricting language. Like you can't even, I kicked one. You can't even say excellent, because it makes it seem like somebody is above. So you have to use like better, like good better, or better
People
good, you
like
know, and then
Aaron
they start dumbing
fall
it down.
into this all the time. They don't even realize that they're falling straight for the trap that they're trying to avoid. Like, you know, talking about a subject, and like he doesn't even want us to talk. We're white, so we shouldn't be talking about black people. Like, what the fuck? That is so racist. Like, he doesn't even realize. Yeah, it's not about. You need to have open dialogue, open, honest.
The thing I feel is that
everyone.
dragging up this historic abuse, because that's what it was. You know, a lot of this is all historic from 200 years ago, so 300 years ago, where they're pulling down monuments of people and statues of people.
They're doing that here in Australia too.
Yeah, I mean, these are things that were 200 or 300 years ago, and you know, there's no need to drag all that up. You know, we've moved beyond that. You know, if
so
nobody...
Can I step in at that point?
Yeah,
sorry,
of course
can I step in at that point?
Sorry, my mistake.
Because I really wanted to come in, number one, just to quickly get it over with the Ruhif bit. If you check on the bit that the purple photographs that you took, if you check, there's kind of like a face in the shadows on the side of the mountain.
There is.
And on your Google, you've got it kind of misaligned and it's slightly out of angle. I zoomed in on Google and you can actually see that's the bottom. It's about 600 meters above ground level. Those faces and those shadows are at the bottom of the mountain.
Hang on, let me share screen so that you can actually show us where that is. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen now.
Trying to measure this picture with pixels so him measuring this picture with pixels was ridiculous. That was the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's not good. Yeah, that's a flat Earth proof. That's a flat Earth proof. He knows it. That's crazy.
Okay, so what have I misaligned here? Where's these faces?
Yep. You see the dark patch coming down the side of the mountain.
Hang on, just one second. Let me just 1 second. Let me add. Rude can join. He just needs to join this. Right, I've added him. Right, okay. So go ahead. Sorry, what you were saying there.
Yeah. So you see the dark patch on the mountain in the purple one. So there's a stream.
All this dark patch here.
No, on the right hand side there's a massive bit of white.
Yeah.
And then a dark patch, being the side of the mountain basically.
Okay. Yeah. Down here.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
I reckon what that is if you're looking at now the Google Earth one, you should be going more around to the right hand side. And what I did is I went into Google Earth in the same way and zoomed out a little bit. I again went to I think it was 600 meters high and 100 meters high. And then as soon as I was around the corner a little bit, sort of like looking 10 degrees more over diagonally, you saw those shadows, and those shadows are actually more in front of you right now, dead in the center of the photo.
Is this a parallax issue because they've wrapped the flat image on a globe? Because we're talking, it's at least 100 and odd kilometers or something, at least. Yeah. So is it possible that this misalignment is caused because, like you say, they've wrapped it around the globe, which has offset the line of sight? Because we're using Google Earth here. I mean, I was only, I think, 20 kilometers away when I took this image in Google Earth, whereas the actual image was taken from much further away.
Yeah, if you can look right at the bottom, right in the middle of the mountain, it looks like there's a face there. I don't know whether anyone's got paraganalia or whatever it is over it. I have, where there's two eyes and a big massive ear, kind of like. You're gonna have to
have to direct me. So I'm going to start here. Right. So I'm
in the purple one.
Yeah, I can see the face. Yeah, I can see the face.
Yeah, that's it there. That's what I'm saying. So
where is that?
I'm saying the eye around about the eyes. If you come from the top of the mountain in Google Earth, come straight down. I'll tell you when to stop. It's when you get to the dark green. There, stop. Now go across about half that to the right. Sorry, to the right, not left. About half that distance. Keep on going a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. There. That's shaded part there, I believe, is part of the eye. Yeah, that you can see.
Right, okay, yeah. So this cutback here could be that cutback there.
Yes.
Okay.
No, eye.
Yeah. So
eye.
So let me just put a
ear is
line
further around the corner.
Yeah, hang on. Let me just put a line in. So
I do see the face. I see like an ear and like hair.
So
it looks like a
curve there. There's a curve there on that, and that could be there. Yeah, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but.
And then,
not forgetting there is that mirage bit at the bottom, so
and then the
you've got to
face,
cut it off at the nose.
The face is the eye there, the eye there. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but if you come around, if you were to get Google Earth, I don't know whether I still got it up there.
It's all right. Yeah, I can go into it again. I can bring it back up.
I can share screen. I've got it literally loaded up there.
Okay, sure. Let me stop sharing. Yeah. Sure. I think Rude tried to rejoin it. I didn't stop. I didn't. I've re-added him to the call, so he just needs to pick up.
So if you see, you're more coming in from this direction. Can you see my cursor?
Hold on. Let me. Okay. Right. Go ahead.
So you're more looking in from this direction, and that line there, if you can see, is more over to the right. So I've come around here, and you can, let me see if I can go forward. There's a bit here, and I'm saying the ear is more here, and it's this bit.
Okay, I'll need to look into it. I'll look into it. I'm just wondering how far you've actually had to go across to get that image.
Yeah, because you're more here, I think.
Yeah, well, that was a direct line of sight to it, but I didn't take into account that on the globe they've already offset it, so to speak.
But all I'm saying basically is, if that is the ear, if the dark patches are these dark features here, then you're talking much lower. You're seeing much lower, because he was saying, you can only see up here, or something, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's like Travis was saying, the compression is very real, in a lot of these images, especially over such long distances.
Yeah, and that was another thing I wanted to share with him. There is a on here, if he goes to scantips.com, there's an actual calculator that allows you to get the distance or size of an object in a photo, i.e. a mountain, a cube, whatever, a building. And it allows you to put in your sensor size, your image size, and how big the actual thing is, and then you compute it, and it will tell you the pixels or whatever, the actual degrees. But this is an additional thing that he needs to account for, which is the foreshortening, and that will add a compression to it, definitely.
Right. So the pixels he was using on his to the buildings was different, wasn't it? He was using the pixel. Well, he was measuring the pixels between buildings 1 and 2, and then he was using that to scale it.
Yeah, when the scale would, it would be the same. Put it this way: the angle or degrees would be the same. However, he's not accounted for any of the lens distortion, which could have accounted for a lot of pixels. It's very rough. It's just a guesstimate, basically. And
he just assumes the ball.
Well, further back, there'd be different atmospheric conditions, different going through. It's exactly that. I've pulled him up on where's your temperature, or what even is your zoom level, and it's just been no, that's just curve. We put it down to curve.
But let's not forget, we shouldn't see any of it. We shouldn't see any of that mountain.
Yeah, I don't even know the figures of what I was just plucking together some figures.
Well, all of it should be gone. You shouldn't see any of it. It's all hidden on a geometric globe.
Let's refract it up. It's holographically projected. Come on. If that's your argument,
really clear.
what are you going to say? Oh no, that's there. It's a holographic projection due to the light bending. I'd be like, what? Are you retarded? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
So, Gleam, what's your take on the discussions that we've just had? Do you have any input on that?
I'll give you a real input, definitely. I'll come from an absolute complete opposite perspective to a lot of people on the panel, definitely. I was born and raised in a city called Portsmouth on the south coast of the UK, dead central, south central. And it's the actual NF capital of Europe. That's where the headquarters was held. So there's a lot of skinheads here. And throughout my life, 100%, I can say 100%, there is in the community, whether you say it's a system or whether it's built into the people, there is definite racism, systematic racism in as much as a belief system, definitely in my area. And I will say, even me living in Manchester, I experienced it up there, and a lot, put it that way. But it was more up in Manchester. It was that you were more integrated, but oddly enough, Manchester Council segregated lots of areas. You must know this, Ranty, that the likes of Earlham and Blakely and all up there is all sort of like Jewish area. And then you've got the likes of Salford Brow, heavily populated with Asians, and there's different pockets. You've got Moss Side, which is heavily African, and there's pockets of where they've basically, and whether it's a good thing or bad thing, I don't actually know, but they've coupled up all different types of coupled up all the same religion in the same area. So many a times, I mean, I wouldn't say hundreds or even in that number, probably tens of times in the 5-6 years I was up there, there was definite, in as much as there'd be a fallout between a group, and there would be within minutes a massive gang from wherever that other area. If it's a gang of Asians versus blacks, it would be instant gangs. But in my experience, and I will say everyone on the panel gave their experience and it's their own personal experience, but in my experience from being 13, I've always had a very close African or Jamaican friend. And when I mean close, I mean right-hand men type thing, or in musical sense. So I'd always be involved in reggae, I'd always be involved in hip-hop, and it's predominantly a black man's music. Obviously, back in the days, back in the early 90s, this was listening to the likes of Bob Marley was accepted, so to say, but I was heavily ridiculed for being a black person's lover, basically. You know exactly what they used to call me. But that is nothing compared to what I've seen with police treating black people. And first hand.
Listen, mate, my mates used to call me a wigger. You ever been called that, Liam?
Yeah, of course. That's the standard.
Well, there you go, mate. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, and yeah, you do see black cops mistreating black people, mate, in the cities and all that. But come into the countryside, mate, and you see them mistreating white people.
Yeah, I don't know about that, man, because in my experience in the country where I am,
I live in the countryside, and the coppers round here are cunts, mate. Honestly,
I mean,
I've lived in Manchester. I lived in central Manchester, mate. Yeah, and where I lived was a predominantly black estate, mate. Like I said, my eldest daughter's fucking mixed race Nigerian, mate. Yeah, so I know all about it, bro. I'm not even saying to you, mate. I've got other family all my family's mixed race, mate. I've got Jamaican, African. You know what I mean? They're all mixed race. I've got half a mixed race family and half white family. At the end of the day, mate, the coppers in Wales are just as shitty to the white people as what the coppers in Manchester are to the black people, mate. And when I lived in Mania, the coppers were just as shitty to me as they were to my black mates.
The
Yeah.
I
problem
don't know.
I
It's
have,
experience, isn't it? In my experience, I haven't had that, and I haven't experienced Welsh coppers. I've only been there once or twice.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, fuckers, mate. They'll have you for anything. Anything, mate. Anything. You find
but
some
down-
woman when this lockdown come in, you find some woman 600 quid for having wine and chocolate in a shopping, saying it was not essential. That's the fuckers, mate.
Well, why were
Really
they still selling it then? Why was it still on the shelves?
Exactly, mate. You can look it up. It was in the Daily Mail or the Daily Post. One of them. Look it up, mate. She got fined fucking 600 quid or something for having chocolate and wine in a shopping. And the copper pulled it out and said, "Oh, that's not essential."
the
All kicked
problem
off.
I have is taking one or a few areas that have, you know, people who have grouped together, who have the same, you know, morals and values and outlooks on life. They've congregated in certain areas and they do certain things, and then they apply that to the whole world. Like here in Australia, they are protesting this Black Lives Matter.
So when I look on the news now, yeah, in
thanks,
London
Rude.
and all that, all the police and that are Chinese and black. So
But
how
to
are
say-
who are they being racist to, mate?
Yeah, to say that racism is that this is like this everywhere is just wrong. You know, yes, it happens. Yes, there are nasty people in the world. We all know that. But to then extrapolate and put that on every white cop and every black person, you're basically saying that, you know, oh, sorry, if you're born black, you've got no hope. You know, you're going to be destitute, you're going to be a criminal, you're going to get shit on all your life, you know. And that's just not
It's
true.
fucking a bit of
That's
woe is
just
me, isn't
not
it?
But I mean, let me throw an analogy at you. The way I see it, basically, is let's pretend that the UK and Australia are all white people, okay? But we're all white people with different coloured eyes, different coloured hair, and what you get is systematically, both in Australia and both in the UK, because they're both under the same laws, that what happens is that only blonde hair and blue-eyed people don't get handcuffed, don't get roughed up any time that they get put in prison. Now,
Well,
us
that's
as
bullshit,
a
man.
well, that's the analogy that I'm trying to put across,
It's never going to happen, though, is it?
where
That's
all
gonna
us
happen on the opposite anyway.
brown-haired, green-eyed, whatever people
What, do you
will
think
get
white
together
people
and
don't
go,
get
"What
roughed
the
up when
hell?"
they're getting locked up in this country?
No,
You're
I
Do you
know
mad.
that,
mean that
but
more
I'm
white people die in
talking-
police custody here than Aboriginals?
talking more.
Mate, what's wrong with all you guys?
I'm
What
not
is wrong
saying
with
it's
you?
completely not there, but I've seen it more on black people than white
Yeah,
people.
but where do you live?
I live in Portsmouth, and that's the
Right,
thing.
is everyone black round your way?
No, that's the thing. It's a predominantly racist area.
How do you see it then? You can't see it, surely.
I see it as a
If
racist
there's no
area.
black people, if there's no black people in your area, how can it be? How can you see racism?
No, there's lots of people in the black. There's lots of black people, Asians,
Listen,
everyone
mate,
in
when I
this
lived
area.
in Manchester, there was 3 white
It's
people,
98
3 white kids out of my whole gang of people who I knew, hundreds and hundreds of people.
But
There was
that ain't
3
my
white kids. I
experience.
was one of them, mate. Yeah, and
Your
everyone got
experience
treated
ain't
the
mine.
same, mate. No one got treated any different. Come to Wales, mate, and it's the same. It's a majority white, mate. There is black people around here. They don't get treated any different.
Yeah, well, my
Not by the
experience.
people, anyway.
I was just putting across my analogy of saying that we'd
No, but it's
all
crazy, man.
be
This is why
frustrated.
these fucking riots are happening and all this bullshit. Because everyone's going, yeah. But it's the same for everyone, mate. I know black kids, mate, in the city who live in the city who haven't got fucking shoes on the feet. But I know white kids who live in Wales who haven't got shoes on the feet. You know, are they struggling because of the colour, or are they struggling because of the situation?
Because of the situation.
Struggling because
Yeah.
of the situation, mate.
Yeah,
At the
but
end
you're
of the day.
merging
There's
two
not enough
different
fucking
things.
jobs at the end of the day, right? Listen, at the end of the day, in my area where I live in Wales, there's more white people, yeah? When the coppers fucking get you, mate, on a Saturday night when you're pissed, they rough you up to fuck. Yeah?
Yeah.
In a city
They rough
where
everyone
it's
up.
predominantly more black people, mate, when they're drinking on a Saturday night and the coppers grip them, they rough them up. No one shouts racism round here, though.
Well, that's around there. Round here,
Everyone,
it
no one
happens.
shouts
I've seen
racism
it
where
happen.
there's less fucking
Well, maybe
brown
people
if
need
you like.
to decide not to live in places.
None of my black mates, none of my black family in Manchester, when they come under a situation like that, they never start shouting racism. They never start shouting, "Oh, this copper's racing." Like I said, mate, my brother is half Jamaican, mate, and my brother-in-law, and he's a fucking fireman, mate. He's quite high up in the fire service. If you heard you saying that, say you're a fool. Say you're an absolute donut, mate. Because there's black police officers who are high up in the service.
Yeah, I don't think that is comparing what goes on in the front line.
That's what I mean. Everyone's generalising.
Saying that, there's a black person here, there's a black person there, that has nothing to do with people getting battered.
On the front line in London now, you've got 10 police walking the streets,
just because a black person gets bagged doesn't mean they get bagged everywhere.
Right? 4 of them are white. 6 of them are ethnic. There's a couple of Chinese, couple of black, couple of Asian, and 4 of them are white. And they're all walking around London, right? And they're all in. Who's being racist? If they're all in mixed groups, and there's a white guy with a black guy, a Chinese woman with a white woman, 2 black officers.
The point I was trying to make, man.
Who's being? It's not, mate.
The point I'm trying to make, right?
Like,
the point I'm trying to make is if you take the ratios, it's 28 times more likely to be stopped by police and searched and roughed up.
Yeah, but if you take the ratios, look at the crime rates. You look at, like it's like they say, look at the crime. Look how many black people shoot black people, and we can't go looking at ratios, mate. You have to look at life.
Yeah, because
flipping the finger
like 14%.
Something different and missing the point. You missed that point.
The ratios are put there, mate, to aggravate people.
Black people like
look at how divided everybody is here. This is exactly what they want.
I'm
united
with myself, man. I've got my own view.
I've got my own
view, and it ain't your view, it ain't your experience.
And then talking about fighting, mate, you got busted
it can't be because you've lived your own life, Glenn. You've lived something different. This is what I mean. You can't make every place the same. Every
Can I jump in for a second?
Yeah, go for it.
Hey, hi everyone, it's Aaron. I sent a couple of tweets off, a couple of comments off earlier. I'm not sure. I did hear, I've been in and out getting my daughter to school, but I did hear a couple of different things about, Aaron's, that is racist or whatever. And I just wanted to clarify a few things. So I think that we're all entitled to our opinion. And when this racism conversation started, what I'd said was nothing about you can't have your opinion, but what I was saying was you had all white people on the panel and probably those hadn't experienced much racism, and it probably wasn't a well-balanced or a fair group of people to be talking about racism when they're not in the situation where they might have experienced it. So we've had 2 people who had the mind of God, and now we've had Gleam.
So we're not allowed to discuss our experience of not seeing it. That's not right, Aaron.
I'm sorry, I missed what you said because I was still talking. But we've had those people that have said, yes, they've experienced racism. So you cannot say that it doesn't exist, which is...
Mind the God experience. You guys used exactly mate. It was about his shoes, man.
You guys did. Hey, I'll tell you another story. I worked in Saudi Arabia for a while.
Exactly, they're fucking racist. You go there as a white person, mate, to Saudi Arabia and start flaunting their fucking rules and see what they do to you then. See racism.
So exactly, Rude. So what I was saying is,
fucking poker up your ass, my mate.
Rude.
No human fucking rights for you there, bro.
Rude. I'm going to try and agree with you if you could just let me finish. I realised for the first time in my life as a white Australian male that I wasn't at the top of the ladder. So there are Saudis and there's the Sudanese and a few more people above you when you work in the Middle East, especially in Saudi Arabia, because it was the strictest country in the world to work in at that time. And I was definitely realised very quickly that there was racism and there was racism against me. I experienced it. But at the same time, I was working with a lot of Indians and a lot of Pakistanis. So in Saudi Arabia, Arabs don't do much work, and most of the workforce is Indians, Saudi Arabians, Indians, Pakistanis, and Filipinos. So just by osmosis, or let's call it the second law of thermodynamics, I became racist to the people under me. So I had very little tolerance for the people under me because they were desperate to try and stay alive, and as Rudolph just alluded to, desperate to not do anything wrong because they had no civil rights, and they were punished pretty easily and pretty quickly. But so they would do things to try and, just sneaky things. They might go the long route in a cab or to get $1 or $2 more, or they might just do just a couple of small things. But because I was being persecuted from above, I started to persecute those below me in the social status that we had, and that was quite shocking. When I came back to Australia after spending 2.5 years in the Middle East, if I had seen an Arab, I would have gone up and punched him in the head because I had that opportunity to take out my anger of how I'd been persecuted. I would have had now we're on fair ground, so I can do it. So I came back a racist. I grew up in.
So you're one of these people perpetuating it.
Well, it's kind of
instead of growing up and being above it all.
Well,
because
Paige,
can I ask you something, Aaron? Why? No. Let me ask you something.
I didn't make a choice.
Why am I not allowed?
You made excuses for why you're racist because your bosses and your friends were, so I became racist too. Yeah, you did exactly what we talked about.
Oh my God!
No, I'm not saying I did anything great. I'm telling you, I'm actually saying I did things wrong.
Yeah, that's really sad.
You're the problem.
It is sad, isn't it?
We're the problem. People who don't take responsibility for their actions and they become racist.
Shut up, right? You know who I am racist against? I'm racist against right the hand and redheads because they're just loud mouths.
And this is why you will always make a personal reason for why you act like an asshole. Right? Like, I will never say
you will always make
hold on.
Always,
you're interrupting.
I've come in here in good nature to explain to you how I've come in to explain to you how easy these things happen and how it happened to me. And now you guys are going to try and have a go at me.
Aaron, you told us like we weren't allowed to talk about this. I am allowed.
I didn't, Paige.
Yes, you did. We're white. We're not allowed to talk about
I didn't say that you weren't allowed to
talk about my experience where I live in my life. And here, where I live, we don't have that kind of systemic racism. It may happen elsewhere, but it doesn't mean just because it happens, just because Gleam's seen it or just because you've seen it, doesn't mean it happens everywhere.
Paige, I didn't say that you weren't allowed to talk about it. So if you want to,
hang on. Well, hold on, Paige. Well, let's get clarified. Let Aaron clarify what he meant.
Read out his comment again.
Yeah, let him. I can't. It's so far back. But let him clarify what he said or what he meant.
Change what he said. You mean? Yeah. Make it sound a bit better.
What I meant and what I said was that I didn't think it was a great discussion to get into, and now I'm telling you why, and that is because at that time you had 4 white people talking about. Well, it's not really balanced, Paige.
Say you've got 4 white people, you're not allowed to talk about your experience.
When you make it about race, when you make it about race, that's racism.
Yes,
Stop making it about race.
You made it about race.
Right the hand, you don't even know what a system is, mate. Right the hand, you don't even know what a system is. You think the system is a group of laws.
Hold on.
You don't even understand the complexities.
All right, let me just say. Well, let me just say.
Tell me more.
You kind of got it wrong there because Mind of God was on the panel.
Yeah.
He's not white.
He's not white, mate.
I might be. I don't know how far back. I don't know who my people are.
No, he wasn't at the time.
He was on. He was the second person that joined the call.
See, you just spout your mouth off, Aaron, before you even, think about what's going on. Yes, you just showed it just then.
No, you guys just want to attack a baller. You're hungry for ballers, so you're going to attack.
Well,
I came on here to say
you're a baller. That makes no.
I came on here to explain how we.
Shout out to the Mind of God for the $2 super chat who says a truly open platform, unlike in brackets no say, refreshing as well. And we had another super chat. Just let me see if I can bring that up too. So that was from Rob Keane who says. The Mind of God and Cleary are both ace. Couldn't agree more. Thank you very much for supporting the show. Much appreciated.
Mind can be changed and swayed by situations and words and things like that, yeah? If you're of that type of mind. If it's, I'd say if it's
control a person's perception,
you can't control my thoughts with with something
Sorry,
like that.
Ruda, I missed what you said from the start because Paige was talking over the top of you. Look, you guys,
No,
if
I'm
you want to
saying
attack
mate,
me,
you know, to be fair to you, I'm
if
not
you want to,
attacking you, mate, at all. No, I'm not attacking
okay.
you,
Well,
mate. At all,
I missed
honestly.
what you're saying. All I was saying is it's very easy to go to a place and not be. So I was not the top, and I had to suffer for that. You know, I had to pay for that, and it was very noticeable that in that culture, they did not think that I was as good as them.
Yeah,
And
the situation changed your outlook. That's what I'm saying. Like, you know, our outlook
it made me
on situations.
change my attitude, but it also was very shocking to me when I came back out of that culture that I had developed some racism, and I've worked on improving
Why didn't
that.
you make yourself stronger and say, I'm not going to fall for this crap. I'm not going to treat everybody of this race the same just because they treated me that way.
Page, because
I'm weak, Paige. Because I'm weak. Why do you?
Weak-minded.
There you go.
Weak-minded. There you go. Weak-minded.
Oh, because I don't believe in God.
People.
You know why?
You go
Because I'm
to-
not a Christian.
Why would
Not
you
a
treat
Christian.
me
It must have been because I wasn't a
in a
Christian.
different country? You've come to a
fucking relying on
different
God,
country where they
weak-minded,
don't
anyway.
treat you like that, and you're treating them the same because you're weak. You can't live
I'm weak,
yourself
Paige.
up.
I'm weak. That's it. You nailed it.
You
I'm
admitted
weak.
it.
I'm
Hey,
weak.
words hurt you.
I'm weak, guys. Yeah.
You just said
good
you're
on you.
weak because you don't have God. That was your words, bro. So I'm just saying.
That was being.
And
that
this
was
is coming
facetious.
from a man.
Right the
this is
hand.
coming
I
from a
don't
man-
want your
hold on.
God, mate. I
know,
don't want to be
but here,
anywhere near
okay,
your
let me
God.
finish.
You
Okay,
don't
Just
have
your
this is-
God. If you are an advocate for your God, then the world is in a very bad place.
Yeah,
You are
it's not.
horrible,
like
man.
Remember,
Chris, who
You
refuses
are
to
horrible,
tries
horrible
to be a
man.
good, honest person is just an awful way for everybody to be. That's just
Yeah,
awful.
Missed that, Paige. Sorry, what was
yeah,
that?
we
I
should
missed
all
that.
be like you. We should all be like you and go
Yeah,
along
we
with
should
the
all
crowd
be like
in the
you,
race
Barry. Start treating people
instead
like
of
shit,
standing up
treat
and say
us
what's
like
wrong.
shit. Just like Brenda does. You know, they treat me like shit, so I'm going to treat them like shit. It's like,
Exactly. You're
who
what's
the
wrong.
fuck is
You're the
ever going
problem.
to take the high road?
Can't take the high. You can't take the high horse on the low road, there, Aaron.
So you guys, until you've been in the situation, you guys can't talk about it.
Yes, we can.
Until you've
Shut the
worked for
fuck
2.5 years in a culture like Saudi
Period.
Arabia,
Bro,
you don't get a
Bro, I
choice.
grew up
Sorry,
as
guys.
a white boy in Bronx.
You don't
New York.
know.
You
You don't.
can't tell me
Okay,
shit.
okay,
You don't
okay.
get a
So,
choice. Until
okay,
you've worked in that environment and been
okay,
suppressed, you don't get a choice.
okay. Tell us about
You
it
don't know
then.
what you're talking about.
Tell us about it then, Aaron. Right. So you've come in and you said we don't know about it. So tell us your personal
I think I'll leave
experience
it, Randy,
about it.
because all I'm getting is just abuse. They want to eat a baller.
No,
And
no,
so
Yeah, well, yeah.
it's not really worth it.
don't run away.
Once he presses you, once he asks him
I'm
what
not running
what
away.
kind of thing.
I'm not running
Well,
away.
tell
but
us
they're just
then.
saying, okay, you're weak, you're weak, you're weak.
Well, tell us.
But
Tell
you
us.
are.
Tell
To
us.
fall for it and treat people who haven't treated you badly, to treat them badly just because of what somebody in a different country did to you is fucking stupid.
You know
My
what,
God.
Kate? If I had come on and not disclosed that, not disclose that I got sucked into it, not disclose that I became a racist, that would be weak. What I showed is extreme strength in coming
Becoming
in
a
and saying,
racist is weak.
Admitting that it was wrong would
see
be
you
the
guys,
strong
you
bit.
guys go around in circles.
You shouldn't have
Randy,
done it.
You're
you
making
Would be the strong
excuses.
bit.
You guys just want
He's
to eat a
making
bullet.
ex-
You know
Yeah,
what
okay,
strength is,
goodbye.
and I've just
Yeah, that's
shown
great.
it.
Yeah, I know what strength is. It's not making excuses for why you became a racist. Okay, that's not
Exactly.
what strength is. Yeah,
The
you're
strength
a
is
weak
in coming
person.
on and saying, I behaved this way and it was wrong. I shouldn't have done
Because
it.
I
I
was-
shouldn't
I
have
was
treated
weak.
people in Australia the same way as I got treated in this other country. I was weak. It was wrong. That
Yeah,
would have
instead he
been
blames
strength.
it on other people. Well, I went along with those people. They're the problem. It wasn't you.
You made me do this.
Yeah. It's fucking bullshit. This is what it comes down to, man. It's always going to be like this. The people that they'll never take responsibility because this is how.
Yeah, no
this is what it
personal.
is.
That's exactly what this system wanted to
Always,
create.
yeah.
That's
it
why
did.
they
It did
divide us,
eventually.
so you can point your finger at some other group that are a different gender, a different skin color, a different hair and eye color, wear different clothes, live in a different country,
Richer.
drive a different car, barrack for a different football team, whatever it might be. They want you to point the finger outside of yourself and blame something external. Start looking in the mirror and going, no matter what anybody else does, I am better than that.
There you go. That's the point.
Yeah. Sorry, I got a bit fired up there.
No shit, you've been away for a while though, haven't you? You sort of like been, all that pent up frustration that you've had.
Really bothers me because my kids are half caste, and yeah, I see the looks that I get, but the kind of racism that they're talking about in America and they're protesting about here, it's not that bad. You know, they want you to think it's that bad everywhere, but they won't protest over a white person being killed by a white cop, or they won't protest over all the black men killing other black men.
To be fair, you're absolutely right there, and I will say this, you know, from seeing this firsthand, is that there are dozens of videos circulating right now of very similar instances where white people have died at the hands of cops, but yeah, it's only the mainstream that picks up the white officers killing the black people that are actually put out and showed to the world as like, this is racist. Okay, well, what about for that one person that was killed? What about the 2 or 3 other white people that were also killed in very similar circumstances? You know, there's.
You know, I've been teaching my boys for 20 years that just because of the colour of your skin doesn't change anything. You don't let somebody put you down and tell you that you are a victim because you've got brown skin. It's just not true. You know, some people in some places might act like retards, but in the whole, if you look at everything and look at all the crimes against same colour on same colour, you'll see that the black against white or whatever is a small percentage of the whole picture. You know, silly to blow it up this big.
So Philip Minion, I've no idea who that is, but it says, Paige, half-caste is not a good word. I have reported ranty. So, seeing as...
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Different sayings in different countries.
So here we go. Watch this.
I don't see it as a derogatory term.
We used to say that in the UK. We did used to say that in the UK, but we don't. We say mixed race.
We
say mixed race or whatever. But
okay.
Yeah, we did used to say that in the UK.
I have a point here, guys. This is my abuse of power right now. This is my abuse. So, Philip Minion, the last time you will get to speak on this channel. Hide user on this channel. Bye-bye. Nobody cares.
Well done, Ranty.
Nobody cares, mate. Go and cry somewhere.
Yep. It's this snowflake attitude. I can't stand it.
It's a different saying, mate. It's like we were talking about that the other day, Paige, when we were saying that certain things in Australia mean different things. Like
mulatto.
If a British guy was to go there and use a bit of slang, I can't remember the word we were talking about actually, but
if American comes over here and says fanny pack, we laugh our asses off because a fanny is a vagina here.
Yeah, mate, you've got to get used to terminology from all around the world, mate.
Yeah. You know, I mean, my auntie, so I had an uncle, he died, but he was half Indian. You know, it was a bit of a scandal at the time, way back when. But
yeah, in the old days, yeah.
It was a bit of a scandal.
Ranty, we're related, buddy.
Hey, yeah, well, what can I say?
But,
you know, I mean, and he was
feather.
He was literally,
which one?
He was the love of the family. Everybody loved him. He was a half caste. He was half white, he was half Irish, half Indian. And yeah, I mean,
well, they loved him because he was Irish.
So he's half amazing.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, everybody's got it. Everybody's got, you know, relatives or distant relatives that are, you know, half castes. You know, it's not a bad word at all. You know, I have no problem saying that because it's just an English term. It's what we say.
It's an old-fashioned saying. In the 80s and 90s, we used to say that in the UK because that's what I used to say about my cousins, that they were half caste. You know, like when you say, "Oh, is your cousin a bit foreign?" Like, and I say, "Yeah, he's half caste, mate." You know what I mean? Or you know, whatever like that. Yeah, and it was an old term, but now people use the term mixed race. You know, they don't use half caste anymore.
Well, what they're trying to do.
It's an offensive.
Somebody mentioned 1984 before. Somebody. I think it might have been.
His kids are mixed race. She's just said herself,
that was
mate.
Me, man, about
I think it was right at the hand.
About how they changed the language.
Yeah, they tried to
make
change
everything.
Yeah, so they tried to change language, and they tried to change the way, you feel, should I say this word? Should I withhold,
this is it. It's putting
withhold that?
society on edge all the time, mate. And then
that controls
people who are
thought.
on edge are
Think about
tense.
Exactly.
When
if you
tense,
control the
mate,
words that
it's like
people
a
use, you
boiling
control
point,
what
do
they
you know what I
think.
mean?
You know, if somebody's like, oh, I'm not going to say that word, you've cut off an avenue of thought. So if they can cut off enough words, then people won't be able to even have certain thoughts. If you can't say certain words, you can't put together certain thoughts. And this is what they're going to.
Yeah, but,
right? If there's no bad,
they can't censor us, so they get us to self-censor.
But here's the
Exactly.
thing: they want to associate it with us being racist in some way by saying that word. And it's nothing of the sort. If you just go back, if you just take it away and say, okay, that's not me being racist. That's not me being derogatory to you in any way, shape, or form. This is just me saying a word that is known in my vocabulary. It's not me being bad to you or nasty to you or hatred towards you. But then as soon as somebody starts to actually make a big fuss about it and other people start to jump on the bandwagon, then you think to yourself, oh, if I say this word, this is going to make that person angry because they think that I'm going to mean this. When actually it's a term of endearment in many respects, or a term of...
Well, it's like saying that person's a brunette and then having everybody jump up and down because you've stated a fact. You've used a word to state a fact. Like, everybody knows what half-caste means. It means you're half of one thing, half of another. What the fuck is racist about that? It's just true. It's just true.
There's nothing bad about it, mate.
Exactly.
What is bad about that?
Well,
they want you to be angry and fearful and think that the world is, that everybody's horrible and you have to fight for everything. And, there's no cooperation encouraged. It's all about winning. It's all about being number one, being on top. There's no encouragement to our children to hold each other's hands and climb the ladder together. It's push everybody else off the ladder. Tell them they're black and they'll never be anything because they're black, and that
their book's the right book and their rules are the right. It's just fucking.
Well, I tell you what. The one thing that sticks in my mind when we're talking about this is Star Trek. Now, I know that the Globers are going to love that Star Trek. Oh. I actually love the series. I've actually watched probably every series.
The Next Generation is fucking awesome.
The Next Generation, top.
Picard.
Jean-Luc Picard.
Brilliant show.
But
they have great moral decisions in there, man.
Yeah.
Especially with Data being an android, they talk about life and what it means to have consciousness.
Be alive.
It's deep, bro. Yeah. Deep.
Exactly, and you look at that, and you've got all the different, Klingons, and you got black people, you got white people, you got Chinese people, you got everybody, and they're all just working together, and they're all just trying to be friends with everybody.
William Shatner saying that it's all imagination, folks. The same as sci-fi is the same as science. Yeah,
yep.
I remember that.
But that ideology is essentially what's in every single person as soon as they're born. As soon as everybody's born, they don't wake up. They don't start taking in information and start to just automatically become racist. That has to be put into them.
It has to be put into their head.
This might be this is going to be some controversial stuff, but I've said this before. I believe slavery never happened. I think slavery never happened. I believe it was a false flag, just like it was a fake event, just to get a reason for white people to start fighting with black people. Because if you don't have slavery, there is no reason for us to not get along.
There's no beginning.
There's no beginning. It all started.
I don't
with slavery.
understand why
everything
people
came
still
from
dwell
slavery.
on that shit, mate.
That's why they teach it.
Like,
this is why they tell you it happened.
I can't control what fucking Hitler did, mate. I can't control what fucking the Ottoman Empire did. I can't control what the Chinese government did.
Hitler was for the Jews. You create a victim class. Look, you create a victim class, right? They created the Jews, they created the blacks as a victim class, and then you can push through and basically do whatever you want because nobody's going to question what you're doing for the victim. Oh, we have to bomb these Palestinians out of fucking Israel because we need that place for the Jews. Oh, we have to get rid of the cops and shoot all us because of the blacks. Oh, we have to do this because of women. Oh, we have to do this because of gays. Once you create a victim class...
oh, we have to go and
Oh, yeah,
protest.
they do.
Yeah, they have
for
to
more
create
environmental
pass
taxes,
because there
mate,
isn't
because there's a
actually
fucking
one.
turtle with a straw up its nose. Or, you know, we have to go and fucking protest for more rules, mate, for the government to fucking control our lives more because, hey, Black Lives Matter, mate. Or because,
Yeah,
hey,
not
you
all-
know, this, that, and the
just
other, you
black
know,
lives.
at the end of the day, we're going to give our freedoms away for a big load of bullshit, mate. That's what's going to happen. I mean, people in the UK aren't even aware that the fucking law changed on the 27th of April. The police and all that can now enter your house without a warrant. If they have a suspicion that you are ill, and it could possibly, I use the words of suspicion and possibly, mate. If they have a suspicion that you could possibly ill with coronavirus, they can enter your premises, mate. They can take you away for 28 days. They can forcibly medicate you. They can forcibly take samples from your body. And that rule came into play on the 27th of April this year.
Don't you love
one's
how
fucking
these
talking about that
corporations
shit.
are telling us
And I
what to
guarantee,
do
mate, in your
and
own
forcing
government,
things
yeah,
on us?
when you look into the laws that have come out in your own governments over the last few months, the same shit's happened in your country, mate. The only thing is everyone's too busy looking at Black Lives Matter protests and other bullshit, mate.
Why do you
while
think
they're
it's
doing it.
happening? Yeah,
Exactly.
distraction.
You know why it's happening, mate? Because they're all getting fucking called out as paedophiles. You got the royal family being caught up in a big paedophile ring, and it's not
Did
the
you see
first
that
time, mate.
jumping out the window naked?
Yeah, that was years ago,
Buckingham
mate.
Palace?
That was
Yeah.
fucking years ago at Buckingham Palace, and they tried to say it was a fake. But that's not the first time, mate. Jimmy Savile was heavily connected with the royal family, mate. It's well known. Jimmy Savile, the corpse shagger, shagging corpses, mate, and shagging fucking invalid kids, mate, in the fucking in the institute where he had the keys to, mate, where he was given the keys.
Yeah,
You know, and he was connected with the royal family, mate. He was connected with the BBC. He used to go quaffing champagne with MPs and royals. So who's doing what is what I'm saying. The people aren't the fucking ones, mate. The people are the ones being controlled. The sheeple, like we say, the sheeple,
and they
mate,
don't want us looking at them, so they get us to look at each other.
Doing what they want, mate. At the end of the day, that's where everyone needs to be looking, mate. And all this other bullshit is just bullshit. And while everyone else argues and squanders over the fucking crumbs, mate, people are sitting on fucking thrones of gold.
Just like with the ball Earth and flat Earth, it's not about what it is at the end of the day. It's about
thousands of years, mate. We've been blagged for thousands of years. Who the fuck are who are these people, these leaders, these royal people, mate? Why do they have all this money? Why do we fight over crumbs, mate? Why are these people, where does this system come from? That's because the type of questions
in their religion they believe they have a right to rule.
Not about fucking racist police. That's what we need to be asking. Why have we been allowed to be raped for thousands of years and have our fucking income raped, mate, and have our time squandered, have our time and our lives squandered by a system, mate, for nothing? You die with nothing. You come with nothing. You're supposed to come here and enjoy it. Like I said to you, you're supposed to come here and propagate life, but we're not. Someone's monopolised it, mate. Someone knew that people are lazy and they thought, oh, we can get them to do this and they'll pay and blah, 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 and blah. And then so the system begins. And in the end, everyone should have just stayed workhorse, mate, and done their own thing. But no, laziness, greed. And now it's more and more pushed by the system. Separation, laziness, greed, all pushed by the system. You think how many years and years all these countries have tried to lower unemployment. Now suddenly they're fucking unemployed, everyone. Boom. How many of them people do you think are going to get back in work tomorrow? If they say go back to work tomorrow, how many of them really in real life, not theoretically, mate, in fucking real life,
could go
how
back.
many of them people are going to put the work uniform on and go, hey ho, I'm back to work tomorrow? Not a fucking lot, my friend. Not a lot.
Howard Morse.
Not as many as you'd think.
Okay, listen. So I've been talking in the chat whilst you guys have been chatting here. So Howard Moore says, but Ranty, these opinions will get you in trouble. What? Because people have a different opinion from the I don't know, the left wing. Let's say it's the left wing or the left media. Because people have a different opinion to that, the more right on the right hand, does that make it any less viable that they should be able to be censored here? I don't censor here.
Or does it make what we're saying any less true?
Exactly. I allow people to come in and talk, and people have done their own research, right? So let them talk about that, and people can make their own mind up. It doesn't have to be politically correct. If everything was politically correct here, there'd be nobody would do anything. There'd be no chats going around. You wouldn't go down the pub and talk to somebody else because you'd all be politically correct little robots walking around 2 meters apart at the same step, ordering the same beer, wearing the same clothes.
Wearing the same clothes, having the same haircut. Yeah.
Having the same thoughts, None of you smoking.
Demolition Man life. You all asked for it. Welcome to Demolition Man life. Fucking be well, mate. Be fucked. Put your hand up, mate. Do your little circle and jog on. That's the life you're all going to be getting, mate.
It should really worry people that there are people out there like Howard and Aaron who think that it's not acceptable to talk about your experience, your life experience, just because, somebody else, you're not a certain colour or you're not a certain sex.
See, on here, I have Chinese people come on the show. I have black people come on the show. I've had Indian people come on the show. English people, Scottish people, Irish people, you name it. They all come on this show, and they can all say what they want. So saying that Sue H says that these opinions will get your channel removed, utter bollocks. At the end of the day, this show is available for anybody to come on, and if they've got an opinion and they want to stand up and say it, let them say it, and the audience will decide their own. Yeah? It's as simple as that.
It'll only get removed, mate, when fucking snowflakes go banging on about it because they're all offended.
Exactly.
Like piss off,
if
mate.
nobody reported him,
fucking virtue signaler. Sorry. Run over.
It's like those tattletales in school. You're having a fag behind the shelter shed and some little teacher's pet shit comes along and goes, I'm going to tell on you. I'm telling the teacher on you.
Yeah, if you don't like it, just jog on, mate. Get off,
mate. Go and get on with your own life.
Paid to be there. Go.
You don't worry about what I'm doing. Unreal.
Well, like I say, if Sue wants to join, Sue can add me. Go and find me on. Go and find me
Sue is
on
probably
Skype.
the whitest fucking white person you've ever met in your fucking life. Lives in a village full of the whitest white people who've never ever met any fucking black people in their entire existences, mate, except for when the fucking BBC news comes on and they see the reporter on there, mate, and they all gasp.
Well, okay, well,
Jog
Sue,
on, Sue, mate.
Well, Sue can add me on Skype. Ranty Flat Earth, dead easy. Ranty Flat Earth, find me on Skype. Can't miss me. I'm wearing a white T-shirt and a blue cap. You can add me on Skype, and I'll bring you immediately into the call, and you can tell us why what we're saying here is wrong. This open discussion where people can come in and they can make a point and they can stick to it and they can do whatever they want. I'll get Globers coming on here to do presentations as well as Flat Earthers. I'm a Flat Earther, but I still accept Globe Earthers coming in and making their presentations. I bring on some of the people that are not well liked in the Flat Earth community. People, and like George Netanyahu here, who's in the chat, he's not well liked in the Flat Earth community, but I bring him on the show and he does presentations. I'm literally in the firing line here from everybody. Right? So this channel is here for opinions and people to come on. It's not the personality, it's their opinions that matter. And here at the end of the day, we will get to the nuts and bolts of it. We'll find out what's going on. And it's an open platform. I'm not going to censor it. It is what it is.
Can I just drop a little disclaimer there as well?
Human rights.
Sorry, can I just drop a little disclaimer there as well, Ronnie? Because, you did say in that conversation there that you had a white T-shirt on, mate. Well, black T-shirts matter too. So the blue ones and yellow ones and red ones. But just in this case, guys, Ronnie's wearing a white T-shirt. Don't get offended.
Aaron Armstrong says, for $5 Super Chat says, if you had listened, you would have heard me take responsibility for what I felt. I don't know whether that was to me personally or to the panel, but okay. I'm glad you got that off your chest. You're welcome to rejoin, Aaron, if you want to, take more responsibility for what you felt. I don't know. I just don't know why I need to.
Fair, I did actually think Aaron was trying to just make an admission there and say that he's actually changed. I think he was actually just trying to say like how your opinion can be swayed under certain circumstances. I mean, you know, there's circumstances that make you angry at people all the time, like, and if you live under them circumstances all the time, yeah, it might sway how you actually feel, mate. And then, you know, fucking hell, you might shock yourself, mate. You just don't know till you live in it. People don't. It's all right to assume shit, mate, when you're not living it. It's fine. But nobody knows till you're living a life, you know. Like I'm saying, like, you know, I've seen, you know, this racial abuse goes on in foreign countries, mate. We talk about racism here in our countries all the time, and you know, these racial shit that goes on in all countries, mate, all circumstances. Like, it's not.
Here's what the left have done. Right? So my missus, she works in a nursery, right? So in nurseries, you get taught nursery rhymes, right? So there's nursery rhymes that you can sing. Nursery rhymes I knew growing up as a kid, and I'm sure everybody probably knows this nursery rhyme that I'm going to say, right? And it's called Bar Bar Black Sheep, Have You Any Wool? Yeah? I'm sure everybody knows.
You can't say it anymore.
You
My
can't.
missus used to teach nursery kids. You can't say it.
You can't say Bar Bar Black Sheep anymore.
I'm not even joking, you can't.
And that's not even, it's not even a joke. It's not even a joke. It's genuinely true, right? But it's the black sheep of the family. The black sheep of the family, or the fact that you've got a black sheep is different, because all the other sheeps are white, you know. Bar Bar Black Sheep makes, you know, and it's like, it was never racist in any way, shape or form, but the fact that they've now stopped you from saying it, it's just insanity. So what, you can't say I'm going to go buy a white t-shirt? Is, you know,
but now
at what point...
to kids upcoming now, that like may seem racist, you know, like a kid growing up now, young, they've not ever heard Bar Bar Black Sheep, mate, and then when they get older, they hear this other version of Bar Bar, whatever it is now, Bar Bar Multicoloured Sheep. I'm not even saying that like in a piss-taking way, I don't even know what it is. Bar Bar no colour sheep. I
can't think either, but it's not black sheep anyway.
Yeah. How would you say it? Like Bar fucking...
I don't know, but why would you even mess around with it? It's a nursery rhyme.
There's either a white sheep with a black head and black legs, or there's a black sheep, or there's a sheep with a black head and black legs and a brown body. I don't know how you're going to fucking describe it. Anyway, I'm not even going to try. But, you know, a kid's going to grow up, see that, and go, oh, that must have been racist, that. That's why they took it away. And then their outlook on racism is the word black. Just the word black. So when they go in and get some black bin bags, they're like all awkward about it. Can I have some of these plastic bin lining device? You know what I mean? It's just a fucking colour, mate, and a word. Like, it's so crazy now, life. You've got so many virtue signalers and victims, that's what it is. You've got so many fucking people, like.
I think Paige just tried getting back in there, and I tried to click it on, but it just disappeared.
Click on what, sorry?
She was... Yeah, I don't know whether you got it. It was just clicking up in my screen here. So
it's because she's trying to join the Ranties Live panelists. She's trying to join the wrong stream. Okay, let me try and bring her in. Here we go. Yeah, she does that quite a lot. She'll try and join the Ranties Live panelists, but I've not actually done it from that stream for a while, so nobody's there. So Gleam, I mean, I suppose in your industry, you know, I mean, you've got probably quite a lot of black friends, I would imagine.
Sorry, Paige had me over there. She phoned and I ended up in like another chat room again, mate. That's the second time I've done that. I ended up in I need to delete some shit off my Skype, mate. I'm jumping in with like 5 American people there, like, this ain't the chat room, is it? No.
Sorry, my phone died.
Yeah, so... Anyway,
yeah, so,
carry on, guys. Sorry.
So I was going to say, you've probably got quite a lot of black friends. I mean, do you see any racism towards white people from the blacks? Because I've never experienced it personally. So
What? Sorry.
Sorry, who was you talking to, Randy? Dan? Gleam or me?
Me.
Gleam,
yeah,
Gleam,
me.
Yeah.
Me.
Oh, sorry, mate.
Yeah, no, I've experienced it once in Hackney. It was a Chris Goldfinger dance. And I suppose I probably had it looks-wise in other dance halls, but Hackney was no threat. it was probably about 300-400 people in there, and it was probably me and another guy that was white, but all my other mates anyway were black. And literally I'm at the bar, just me on my own, and this old pork pie hat, probably mid-60s, early 70s, old guy, come up to me and he goes, "Hey, white boy, what a rush you doing here?" And I just turned around to him and just said, "Either way, mate, I'm here for the music, same as you, innit?" And that was it. Nothing was said after that. That was the only bit.
But here's the thing, I wouldn't get offended by that, you know. Do you know something? If,
No,
if a Jamaican guy came up to me and went, "Hey, white boy," you know, I wouldn't think that they were being derogatory.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've had the opposite as well, where I've been...
Hey, listen, I went in a pub once at Manny called the Gorton Arms, and I was with 4 of my black mates. Yeah, I went in the Gorton Arms, mate, on a fucking Saturday night with 4 of my black mates, and I would not get served at that bar. Doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter if I went round there, mate, and fucking put every black dude's dick in my hand, mate, in that pub. They would not fucking serve me at that bar. And it was because I was white. But I didn't say anything. I wasn't asked. My mates were getting me drinks all night. And every time they got me a drink, I could see the girl behind the bar, like, squinting her eyes at me. And I thought, "You cheeky bitch." But I didn't think, "You cheeky racist bitch." I just thought, "You cheeky bitch." Because it was just her, mate. You know what I mean? I was in the pub, I was all right. Everyone else, sweet, chilling, not asked. I was the only white guy in there. The woman at the bar wouldn't serve me. Also, I experienced racism, mate, in Bolton from a bunch of Asian kids, mate. Again, it was me in the car, yeah? My black mate in the front, I won't mention no names, and 2 of me mixed race mates in the back, yeah? I was driving. We pulled into a little shop in Bolton. 2 cars pulled in front. My black mate went in the shop. He was fully black, one of them, and the other 2 was mixed race, but he didn't look white. He looked mixed race, mate. He had plaited up hair and that. And this little Asian kid come up to the window and he's like, "Yeah, what you doing around here, man?" And I was like, "What you on about?" And he goes, "These are our fucking quarters, innit?" And I went, "What you mean your quarters, mate? We're going to the fucking shop." He's like, "Yeah, you better roll out, bro." And I was like, "Well, move your car then." And I will. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the only racism I've ever experienced. I've never seen any of my mates calling anyone about their colours, mate, but you know, there's situations where it depends what the mind frame is and how outnumbered a certain fucking thing. It's just mindset, mate. Mindset.
Yeah, I'll tell you 2 that I've had in the opposite way, where it's not been one of them wasn't really my mate, but someone I knew and a well-known youth around town, so to say. But first was one of my right-hand men. Basically, we've just done a gig. We're just standing outside, and some big-looking guy, massive guy, stood on his toe, and he turned around and goes, "All right, mate," like that, and the other guy turned around and just shrugged at him, and he goes, "Oh, don't say sorry then, mate." And he goes, "Who the fuck are you to be saying sorry to?" And I'm sure he mumbled under his breath something like "monkey." And my mate was like, "What did you just fucking say?" Because my mate ain't small, but he was no way bigger as him. Within 10 minutes, I mean, there were 7 of us. So, and the guy was there with just his missus. So he called back up. Within 10 minutes, there was about 20 of them. And my mate got a pummeling, complete pummeling, but from NF, literally with swastika tattoos on their bald heads. Literally. And it was me that had to get in between and kick him down the road and say, "Just fucking run. You're the only one they're all kicking off over."
I've lived in the city of Money, mate. I've never seen no NF gangs, mate. They get fucking chased off the estate if they lived in Money. Seriously,
yeah, as I say, was in
that many black people in certain areas in Manchester, mate. If you even tried being racist, mate, you get fucking chewed up, spat out. You wouldn't have a chance in hell. You barely got a chance just not being racist, mate. Let me tell you. If you start being racist coming off with that shit, mate, you get fucking spun up, mate. I'm telling you now, you won't make it out the other side.
Aaron Armstrong.
Every situation is different, man. Every situation is different.
Let me just say, Aaron Armstrong wants to clarify something that he said. So, Paige and Right the Hand were unable to think critically about what I said, jumping straight to attacking, and that it was pretty pathetic. I know, we want to debate flat Earth here, but ultimately, we are talking about the riots right now, and what's going on with the riots and this racism, and what's trying to instigate that. What's the devil behind that kind of thing, Because left to our own devices, if you have a white baby and a black baby, and they're brought up by the same family, and they're not in any way, shape, or form having the brain molested by the media in any way, shape, or form, they just grow up together. They're not going to be racist to each other. They're not going to look at each other's skin and call them names.
Here in Australia, we don't have, especially in Melbourne, we don't have much problem with like gangs of kids, or we never used to. And then we got an influx of Sudanese immigrants, and all of a sudden we had all these gangs of young Sudanese men running around, looting buildings and cars and, having fights and all this kind of shit. Is it racist to point out that happened? No. It's the truth.
Do you think it's nature or nurture?
I'd be going with nurture in that.
Yeah, I would agree. I think if you leave it to nature, if everybody was just left to be natured, basically,
yep.
nobody would go after other people and be racist. It just wouldn't happen unless somebody was stirring it up and messing with the brain. But then that comes
you'd
into
have to see it yourself.
Yeah, then that comes into the nurture side of things, is to how you're brought up. And I still think that's, a big factor, especially in some of these different countries, like you just said. When some of those people move over to your country, they're still taking that, that belief that they were brought up with. But I think left to their own...
they basically did exactly what Aaron did. They go to a different country, and because of the way they were treated somewhere else, they act badly in the new country. Like, it's terrible behaviour.
If the elites would just leave us alone to just be humans,
yeah.
just leave us alone.
Average Joe wants to just live a life, mate. Nobody wants. That's what I'm saying. What he was saying before, old Speedy Gonzales, he fucking speaks at 1,000 miles an hour, making out like I'm some murderer, mate. I don't want to go out and murder anyone, but I will fucking fight to the death for my family, mate, for the people that I love. I'll fight to the death for them, mate. People go out and fight to the death for the government. They go out and fight to the death over Black Lives Matter, mate. They go out and fight to the death for fucking the environment. Some people are fight to the death over a fucking snail, mate, no doubt. Some virtue signaller, mate. I'd just do it over my family, mate. It's not about wanting to go around murderer. Average Joe just wants to live a peaceful, safe life, mate. That's it. Nobody wants to go around hurting everyone. People go around hurting everyone because of other things, other situations. It's like wars don't happen because everybody votes to go for a war. Wars happen because two fucking pen pushers or a group of pen pushers in a building somewhere say, right, we don't like these here, we need to go to war with them. And then everybody else has to go to war and die, mate. We're not the ones doing that.
Yeah,
they
just refuse.
And people that are just doing the jobs, mate, that's what they say. I'm just doing my job. Just doing everyone, mate. You go and tell someone who's earning money to go there and don't do the fucking job they've been asked to do, mate. They'll tell you to piss off. It doesn't matter what it is, whether they're fucking picking up dog shit, mate, or emptying bins, or fucking serving burgers at McDonald's. You go there and say to someone, now, stop working now. Stop working. They'll say, fuck off, mate. I'm working, I'm earning money, I've got to do my job. Doesn't matter what job it is. It's the system. We're all systemised, mate. That's what I'm saying. All of us, it doesn't matter. We're just doing the jobs, mate. And people's opinions conflict with the jobs. And that's where your little crazy things about racism in the police and all that come in. Because, yeah, there will be some coppers that are racist. There'll be some white coppers who are racist to black people. There'll be some black coppers who are racist to white people. There'll be some fucking Chinese coppers who are racist to black and white people. The black copper might be racist to the Chinese and the white people and the
Some
Asian
people hate their own race.
What are you going to do about that, twisted little web? What
Yeah,
are you
but
little fucking virtue snowflake head's going to do that when start falling off? When the Chinese man starts being racist to the white man, the black man, and the Asian guy, and the whatever, mate. What are you going to do? Or does that not matter? Because it fucking happens, mate. It's the simple fact of life. Is that it happens, mate. It doesn't matter what race you are. Everybody, every race, mate, has got racist people within it. Because you get Chinese people that don't like black people. I know, mate. I fucking know some. Chinese people that don't like black people, mate. Black people that don't like Chinese people. Chinese people that don't like
Asian people.
Yeah, but why is that? That
isn't just come from...
It's because of personal experiences.
Yeah, but what's that personal experience driven by?
Not even just that.
Yeah, but hold on, Paige.
By society. But what people do, like what?
But hold on, guys.
Mind of God did before.
Systematic racism.
But what's this?
Say that the system was racist because he got refused at a club door for his shoes, and then forevermore, everyone's racist, mate. He refuses him at a club. This is what I'm saying. This is what people do, mate. They create it in their own minds. You know, the Chinese guy that doesn't like black people, mate, yeah, might have had an argument with a black guy one day, yeah, and it's all gone, and the black guy might have called him something racist, and then that's it, mate. That Chinese guy fucking hates black people, mate. It's just in his mind. Oh, they're all fucking this, they're all that. You know, it doesn't fucking matter what colour you are, mate. It doesn't, mate, this shit, what they're talking about is just in people's fucking heads, mate. And it's all put there by the system, mate. The system that everyone's fucking fighting to defend all the time. It's crazy, mate. It's so fucking crazy. That's why we can't get out of it, mate. We're like a fucking snake eating itself, mate. We're like, you know, we everything is reliant on the system. System's reliant on us. It's everything, mate. It's symbiotic. You know, it's been created that way. It's too late, mate. Everything we think, eat, drink, fucking sleep, mate. Everything's from the system, mate. Every word we say, every number, every calculation, every fucking everything. So that's the fucking top and bottom of it there, peoples. We do what the fucking system tells us to do, mate. If the system's telling us every fucker's racist, mate, suddenly every fucker's racist, mate. Even though we've got along in fucking synchronicity for years, and suddenly everyone's fucking racist, mate. And all the historical statues need fucking ripping down, mate. And it's fucking madness personified, mate. It's madness. We're all fucking locked in our houses. All go out banging a fucking drum on Thursday night to say thank you for being fucking locked in your house. Mate, come on. We're being proper mindfucked here, big time. And everyone just fucking...
Clear is giving a $2 super chat saying the media is controlling the narrative. And I would go beyond that. I would go beyond that and say it's not the media, it's the people that own the media. You know, and there's only a few individuals. Like you say, you called them pen pushers before. You know, I'm going to say that, you know, we call them let's say the Illuminati, for instance. But, you know, they are the hidden hand that directs what goes on in the world, and the media are their puppets, the puppets that tell...
In the real world, mate, a government that's governing people, mate, should be absolutely and unequivocally, mate, fucking see-through, mate. You know, it should... Everything. There shouldn't be any of these secret fucking going in secret rooms and talking shit and all that. You know, there shouldn't be these Davos meetings where millionaire corporation owners meet with fucking, you know, country fucking... prime ministers and fucking kings and queens and start hammering out little details in private. That shit shouldn't be happening. Anything controlling, anything to do with anything to be like controlled over the masses, mate, should be completely fucking see-through, mate. It should be, you know, transparent, mate, in all aspects. All the tax spending, everything should be transparent, mate, for all the people, mate. Because that's where we go wrong. All these people who are sat there in the little offices pulling the fucking strings without nobody... Nobody's going there and fucking saying to him, hey, listen, mate, you know, we need to investigate this. They're making the laws, they're pulling the strings. That's the fucking root problem, mate, right there. Is the governments and that, and the system and the corporations, mate.
To decide whether they are under common law or whether they're under Roman law. Are you a dead corporate entity, or are you a living man or a woman? Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
We keep doing it, we keep chugging along. It gets to the next vote and he put two fucking cards on the table and go pick one of them. What if we turn around and say we don't want either? We don't want any of them fucking cards, mate. We want this card. And what are they going to do?
Let me shout out again. Aaron's given a super chat. I don't know what's going on here. I'm just intersecting. Just 1 second. 1 second. He said Shill said that he abused children. What are you going to do about it? So thank you for the super chat, but quite honestly, I'm reading what he's saying, and he's basically saying that if you teach your children horizontal is level, then you're a child abuser. I don't necessarily agree with that terminology, but I can see where he's coming from. It's the same way that you Globers turn around and say that we abuse children for teaching our children that the earth is flat. It's exactly the same. So I don't see where you get it.
Be an adult and not fucking engage, mate.
Exactly. If you don't like it,
again, why are we all running for the fucking rule change again? That's why there's no wrenches, mate. Fight your corner. If you don't like it, mate, you're gonna have to roll it in. Roll on the floor. Get up on the floor in a ball in the fetal position and take your kicking, mate. It's as simple as that. Either that or fight your corner. You know, it's one of the two. No one's got any wrenches, mate. No one's getting booted anywhere. It's one of them. That's how you got to roll, man.
This is the whole attitude of I need somebody else. I need a big brother.
That's where we go wrong, mate.
I need an authority to
That's where we go wrong, because then that big brother comes in and goes, right, don't do that.
Take their rights, and I'm going to take your rights as well.
Yeah, exactly, mate.
You wanted to say something, Liam?
Yeah, can I give a second story which was more involving police? More than anything, as in systematic racism in the police, and I definitely know it is that. Basically, 14, 15-year-old kid, known as Taliban Sam, even though he was more black than anything. He'd nicked a £5 out of his mum's purse. His mum phoned the police on him. You can understand how troublesome he is straight away. But he's round a place, let's say, where I get my medicine. I had about £50 worth of medicine on me, and the door knocks. He sat across the way, and the owner of the house goes to answer the door. Stupidly, she didn't even look between the glass, and she's opened the door, and I've got a big spliff hanging out my mouth. I immediately tuck it under an ashtray underneath the couch, and they come in and they literally look at me and they say, "Don't worry, mate, we're not here for that. We're not here for you." So I was like, okay, heart's beating, I'm dimping it out literally in front of him. I've still got the weed in my pocket, and they go up to him and they go, Sam, basically, was his name. I say he was his name because he actually died when he was about 21 over a heroin overdose. But either way, to the story, he knew the common law trick, let's say, of they can't arrest you if you don't say your name. So he kept absolutely silent and as if they weren't there. So he looked straight ahead. They asked about 3 times and he didn't answer. So they said, right, we're going to have to take you down the station then. They went to pick him up and he actually got up. He was not pushing back or anything like that. And they actually got him in cuffs, put him in cuffs, and everything was cool by then. Now, the plot twist of the story is I've got 2 staffies, and well-trained staffies to protect against violence. They pushed his arms right the way back, which was well unnecessary, completely unnecessary, and I couldn't stop the dogs. Before I know it, it looks like a Freddy Krueger scene, blood all up the walls. The police are using him, still while cuffed, pushing his head towards the dogs to stop them from biting him, because
what
the
was
dogs,
racist about that, though, mate?
Because this is the whole thing. This is the whole thing. Over a £5, yeah. And
yeah, but
you've cut my story. Yeah, you cut my story short because. No, you cut my story short because they stopped me from actually calling out for his calling out, pissing with blood, still cuffed up, getting his face rubbed up against hardcore.
Do you think you wouldn't have done that if he was white?
Well, put it this way: they had no business with me. They had no business with me.
How do you know it's about the colour of his skin? Maybe they just don't like young men being turds.
Hold on. Gleam, can you just finish your story? Just finish what you were saying. You say the dogs. So they put their arms.
Basically ripped his skull. Probably
Whose
about
skull?
a
Whose
30
skull?
centimetre rule up.
Whose skull?
The black kids.
Right. Okay. So
because
the
they used him as used him as a bodyguard, basically.
Right, if I had 2 staff coming towards me and I had someone in a headlock and two staff
Whatever,
were
you
coming
weren't there, my
bowling
man.
towards me.
You weren't there,
I
my man.
fucking I chucked the guy in front of the staffs, mate.
Yeah, you weren't there. You weren't
What
there.
the-
There was no need to use that force. Put it that
Self-preservation.
way, and put it this way. I went in for a statement as a witness, and I said no, police brutality. This should never have kicked off this much, and they changed my whole report.
There was no racism in that, mate. They'd have done that if he was white, man.
Nah.
If he was white and he was arrested, if he was white and he went to arrest him and he stood up,
there was
like
more
that,
money
mate,
in me.
I've seen it happen to my
There
mates.
was more money in
I've
me.
seen it happen to my mates, Gleam. I've seen my mates get levered by the police on the floor.
Yeah, but you weren't
They're
at this
fucking knee,
situation.
White.
You weren't at this situation. You can't say your situation was the same as mine. I see it as racist.
You little shit, you're black.
Did they call
You
him
shouldn't
any
be doing
racist
this.
names?
You don't know it's about skin colour.
Yeah.
Could have just been that he's young and they're sick cops.
You cannot automatically decide my experience. You cannot automatically decide that. You're desperate to be. You're desperate. No, it ain't. I've been there twice, mate. I grew up in the NF headquarters of Europe.
In fucking Longsight, mate.
Longsight's nothing. Longsight's nothing for racism. That's a black town.
At the end of the day, mate, you need to fucking travel.
My mate's been shot in the face in Longsight, mate. Gabrielle, look him up.
Did mine. My mate got fucking killed. 5 bullets to his face, mate. 5 fucking bullets to his face. His name was Dean Eccleston. He was my fucking cousin's best mate. Check that up in the fucking newspaper.
But your experiences are not my experiences, mate. Seriously. Mine are racist.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Is they're trying to make your experiences the same everywhere in the world. They're trying to say what you experience.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying my area is racist.
Not you.
My area is racist. I don't care what you try and fit it in another box or something. My area is racist.
Marcus Green did. You got shot.
That's not the same everywhere.
Guy, mate. Was the other black guy racist?
People die in police
he was shot over drugs, mate, because he was fucking selling drugs around the estate.
In my experience, down here where I'm born and bred, it's racist, bro. You can't tell me any otherwise. Put it this way: when you got open people with literal
How many black
swastikas,
people you got down your end? How many black people you got in your
hundreds
estate?
of thousands, man, hundreds.
So these people walking around your estate calling them all racist names and that all day, every day.
No, there are groups of racists, big groups.
And is there not groups of anti-racists? Is there not groups of fucking like Muslims doing Muslim Sharia patrols in London and all that?
Mate, you're going off on a tangent. I'm just saying, my area is racist. You unless you've been down there, you don't know. You've been Portsmouth.
Your street, you mean?
No, Portsmouth in general. You go Portsmouth.
3 Mile area.
But do you agree, Gleam, that just because it's like that there doesn't mean it's like that everywhere?
I'm 100%. I'm not saying that. I'm hearing that it's never racist nowhere in the UK, and I'm telling you, I've lived it.
No.
I've seen it.
Well, seeing as these guys aren't listening to me, I'll just say it as it is. It seems like even though you can be a flat earth, definitely have different opinions when it comes to different subjects. This is very, very, not only a subjective but a controversial subject, and one that we've been talking about for. So, it'll be about this time that I'm more with the same people if you want to do your final thoughts, but to be honest, these guys aren't listening to me, so why should I give them a moment to respond? Okay, right. That'll do for tonight, and I'll see you all in the next one, guys. Thanks, everybody, for stopping by.